we done came from the bottom. Mad that we up, but I don't hear him talking. Started with knowledge inside of my noggin. We took a dream and then we started blogging. Put my city on the map now. I'ma say how it is and I don't back down. On the road to 100K, we finna act out. We gon' show them that we not just in the background. We the main event, we the main show. We the one that people always gon' pay for. FYF, we the best, no debate though. Number one sports channel, every angle. I'ma show them all how we ride. Best sports talk show, we not like them guys. We playing it safe while they feather the lines. We pushing the narrative all the time. Like who to go in the game is not MJ. Kobe Bryant top 10, not what we say. I keep Elijah one is very overrated. Keep it real if it ain't fact, we don't say it. Now it's stable, we won't be ignored. We number one, especially when coming to sports. FYF bringing the heat here, of course. Where everything backed up with actual source. Everything backed up with actual source.
FYF Sports, man, it's Lamont. Be back, man. Appreciate everybody pulling up today. Got a good show for you guys, man. Again, going live ahead of the Friday night exposure show coming up at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. But we got to talk about some things today. We got a couple things to cover today. We're going to cover, obviously, y'all see the title, the topic, the LeBron James, Brian Windhorst situation. Obviously, I think the biggest story of the night is the Indiana Pacers and the Oklahoma City Thunder game 1. And then we also going to talk about, because some of you guys, I put it on my community chat, my prize picks. My prize picks, I'm telling y'all, over the last couple of days, I've been killing prize picks. I think I have a strategy that's a winning strategy, man. We're going to share that with y'all today. And I'm going to show you guys what my picks, I'm going to show you guys how I formulated my picks for game 1 of the NBA Finals and how easy it was just using this one simple method that I have. Again, there's a lot of people out there. There's a lot of people out there, man, to get the picks, man. They making you pay. They make you do all this stuff. I'm just giving y'all the method for free. I'm just showing y'all how I do it. And then I'm giving y'all the link to sign up for Prize Picks, man. You get $50 of free play as long as you use our link from FYF Sports. So I'm going to be sharing that with y'all today as well. Looking at the chat, man, we had King Rose Speech, man. King Rose Speech with the comment, man. He says, what does this finals have to do with LeBron? King Rose Speech. Do you think this channel is relegated to only talking about the NBA Finals? We talk about all basketball topics and how they connect back to real basketball talk. There's plenty of other channels where you could say that. There's plenty of other channels where you could say that, and I don't see you saying it. There's plenty of other places you can go where they spam content on LeBron James, hate content on LeBron James. Over. Read the title. The title says LeBron claps back at Brian Windhorst. And then it has a split because there's a second topic. Game 1, Thunder Pacer recap. Use your brain, King Rowe. There's 2 topics that we're going to be discussing today. LeBron claps back at Brian Windhorst, question mark. 1 topic. What's the second topic, you guys? Game 1, Thunder Pacers recap. King Rowe, can you read? Are you dumb? What's going on, King Rowe? If you don't know what Wendy said, that's why you're watching, because we're going to explain it to you. Stop erring on the side of stupidity, pretending as if you don't know what I'm talking about, King Rowe. Now, King Rowe, now you see, the thing is, here's the problem with a lot of y'all. Once y'all realize y'all just made a gross error, y'all start to play stupid. For example, with Jared the other day, right? When he came up with this weird formula that you got to have a championship to be considered the best player in the NBA. And then he had to start erring on the side of stupidity. So in the 1987-88 season, instead of just saying Jordan was the best player, nah, I think Magic and Bird was the best player. No, Jordan was the best player in 87-88. Don't err on the side of stupidity just because you was wrong. Y'all got to stop doing that, man. Read the title. I don't get y'all logic and y'all some of y'all brains and some of the stuff that y'all think and say. And King Rowe, I think you really worried about my angle on this particular topic. Salute to H30 in the chat. Salute to E-Dog. Salute to Queston Ferguson. A lot of the OGs popping up in the channel today. We got to talk about this LeBron James, Brian Windhorst situation, primarily because I think everybody has it all wrong, right? I think everybody has it all wrong. Brian Windhorst initially came out and he said, I'm going to give y'all his quote, and I'm going to kind of summarize it. He said, not everyone wants to hear that kind of discussion, referring to in-depth basketball analysis on Mind the Game. Now, I want y'all to ask yourself, because when Brian Windhorst made that particular quote, no one, just like I told King Rowe, no one erred on the side of logic and reason. What everybody did was, especially the LeBron James hate networks, they said to themselves, we have another spicy TMZ style, let's create a beef topic between Brian Windhorst and LeBron James. They erred on the side of stupidity. Right? They didn't think about what Brian Windhorst was truly saying and who he was truly indicting. When you think about what Brian Windhorst said, is he truly indicting the podcast that he's describing as in-depth basketball analysis? I think in-depth basketball analysis is the perfect description of the Mind the Game podcast. What he was alluding to was he says not everyone wants to hear that type of discussion. What does he mean when he says that? He's talking about the low-level basketball minds or supposed basketball minds who push TMZ style media and the fans that gravitate to that. We talk about it all. We've been going through this for years. We've been talking about this for years over here. All right. We've been talking about it for years. Hold on. We got BBL warranty. He says Lamont Hairline James. That's fine. But I'm on camera. I have no gripes with it. Your name is BBL warranty, and you got a fake profile pic. What I've accepted it for a long time. Why don't you accept what you look like and put your face on your profile pic? It'd be the most troll of troll accounts talking, and then they never click the link when it's time to talk basketball. These are the people that Brian Windhorst was talking about. People like BBL warranty department, people with silly, childish names, sitting in a grandma basement with really no aspirations or goals in life. These are the people that Brian Windhorst was talking about. The people that don't really care about the game, the people that come up with these crazy narratives that define certain players as the GOAT or not. They don't want to really talk the game. How do we know this? How do we know this? I want y'all to just go look through YouTube. I want y'all to go look through YouTube. And I want y'all to go look at how, especially a lot of the LeBron James hate networks have been disseminating the Mind the Game podcast content. Do they take the X's and O's like when he broke down the matchup with the Denver Nuggets and Nikola Jokic? Did they take that in to disseminate that? I want y'all to really go think about how they've disseminated that content. LeBron James has really been giving out some gems, especially when him and JJ Redick was on there. But if you look at the LeBron James hate networks, and I know on the thumbnail we're making fun of Dreamers Pro. It's much bigger than a Dreamers Pro because a lot of people like to make this about a Dreamers Pro. This is much bigger than a Dreamers Pro. This spans across a whole bunch of fictitious content creators who pretend that they know the game, right? But what they do is they stay away from real basketball talk. Rap Guy Reloaded says Uncommon Sense has the best basketball content. I've invited him over here to FYF Sports. Rap Guy Reloaded. There's a reason why people like Uncommon Sense won't step over here to FYF Sports. All these people, I've extended an invitation to come over here to FYF Sports. I've extended the invitation. Not to gang up on them, but to have a basketball conversation. Even when you think back to when I had Dreamers Pro over here, of course, we all remember how it ended because it was funny. But when it was just me and Dreamers Pro up here cooking, when it was just Gil and Dreamers Pro up there cooking, we were talking basketball, and what we easily exposed was that Dreamers Pro knows nothing about the game of basketball. When he was faced with a very simple basketball question, what players defended Michael Jordan at the shooting guard position? And the man said Charles Barkley. That's all we need to know. You don't really watch the game, nor do you care about the game. Brian Windhorst's comments, Shao, were aimed at a lot of you guys. It was aimed at a lot of the low-level troll fans, people like Mr. Winters, at times people like King Rowe, who what they do is they dive into the messy topics, but they never want to dive into the basketball, the X's and O's. Tyson is correct when he says that. He says most of those channels don't want any pushback. It's an exactly right Uncommon Sense. One, if he does go live, he doesn't bring people on. Two, he never engages with people in the chat that push back against him. Three, even when invitations are extended to him to come to FYF Sports, they don't even reply. I've extended these invitations. Y'all don't think I've seen these channels? When I see these people with these narrative-driven thought processes, I always extend the invitation. We need to talk about this. Come on over to FYF Sports. They never come. They never come. And you can literally name them all. You can literally name them all. Rap Guy Reloaded said at least Scap Attack changed. Scap Attack came to the channel to talk to Gil. Scap Attack did not come to the channel to engage with FYF Sports. I understand the clout move. Whenever you can come and you know that you're going to engage directly with Gilbert Arenas, of course. He was ranked one of the top 10 sports podcasters on YouTube, of course. But I extended the invitation to Scap. I said, if you want to have a Kobe conversation, we can have it. King Rose Speech said Scap cooked. Scap did not cook. Because even when I engaged with Scap with one question, we saw that everything that Scap Attack was saying was a lie. In King Rose Speech, since Scap couldn't answer the question, when I dropped the link, I want you to answer the one question. Who was the best player on the Lakers from 1999 to 2002? Very easy question. Mr. Winter says you tried to help Gil. It's not about help. This is just common sense basketball talk. Y'all always want to make something seem like winning and losing. It's a reason why, Mr. Winters, you no longer come on the panel. Because you look at these conversations like winning and losing. And you've, in your eyes, potentially taken a lot of L's coming up onto this panel and making yourself look like a fool with bad narrative-driven takes. Selective narrative-driven takes. Like I said, I try to extend. This is why there's some content creators. That's why at the end of the day, I mean, I do give people like DreamersPro some credit because he did come to FYF Sports. I don't like the fact that he used the presence of others to not come back. He saw locker room on the panel, and that made him mad at the FYF platform. He saw a legend of winning talking about him on the panel, and that makes him mad at the FYF Sports platform. These people are narrative driven. They allow anything to bother them. They run from real basketball talk. Because when I bring people on, we're here to talk basketball talk. We're not here to talk narratives. We're actually here to talk basketball. King Rose says, telling me Shaq was the best player 99 to 02 is low-level question. It is a low-level question. Exactly, King Rose, because there's only one answer. That's why I asked it. I asked the question because there's only one answer. That's exactly why I asked it. Are you King Rose speech? Like, this is how I know you were not paying attention to the debate at all. Because from 99 to 2002, Scap Attack was making the proclamation that Kobe was the best player. So the fact that you said that it's a low-level question tells me that the obvious answer is Shaquille O'Neal, which we all know. You literally answered the question. I only asked it because there's only one answer. I think I'm a savant. No, first of all, a servant or a savant. BBL warranty department. You got to learn how to spell. So do I think I'm some type of basketball servant? No. Do I think I'm a basketball savant in some aspects, but not necessarily? So BBL warranty, man. Like I say, y'all gotta stop letting education and English kick y'all in the ass. Stop trying to use words that is just not in your vocabulary. You don't run around saying basketball savant. Don't try to type it in because you don't even know how to spell it, my guy. It was not a toss-up between Kobe and Shaq in 2000. Only retards say stuff like that. Kobe himself even admitted he was the number 2 on the team. And he expressed his frustrations directly to Phil Jackson because he did not want to be a number 2 anymore. And ultimately, things came to a boiling point in 2004 versus the Detroit Pistons, and it cost them a final because Kobe said, I'm not having it no more. I'm not being this number 2. I'm going to be the number 1 by hook or crook. And he went rogue on the entire team and cost them a championship. Where are your narratives for that? That actually happened. That is fact. Where are the narratives around that? Anthony says, FYF, what did Kobe do to y'all? This is not about what Kobe did. We're just talking about what happened in basketball history. These things were documented and reported. This has nothing to do with tearing down Kobe. It happened. This is not narrative. It actually happened. The collision and clash between Shaq and Kobe was a very public affair that many people have spoken about, including Shaq and Kobe. When Kobe comes out and says, I was the number 2 and I didn't like it, y'all try to ignore it and say, no, I love you so much, Kobe. You were still the number 1. Kobe himself even said he was the number 2 option. But yet straight buffoons and idiots who love Kobe because y'all cannot settle with the fact that he was a number 2 option for 3 of his championships. So the only way you can make that work in your minds is if you try to pretend that he was somewhat of a number 1 option when he was not. For 3 of his championships, he was a number 2 option. It's okay. But like I said, when you guys start with very bad talking points, like denigrating players like Scottie Pippen, who was one of the greatest number 2 options in NBA history, you then have to err on the side of stupidity to maintain that talking point, which means you have to pretend that during those 3 championships, Kobe was the number 1 option over Shaquille O'Neal. Because the way you tear down players like Scottie Pippen, there's no way you could put Kobe Bryant, your favorite player, on that level. So now we have to pretend He's on a higher level than he actually is. And we have to pretend that for that small stretch, he was better than the most dominant player in NBA history in Shaquille O'Neal. You guys have to pretend. Mr. Winter says, so admit that Shaq in 02 said Kobe was the best player in the world. I'm not talking about who the best player in the world was. I just asked you who the best player was on the Los Angeles Lakers from 1999 to 2002. I did not say 03 and I did not say 04. And even in 03 and 04, the team still was utilizing Shaquille O'Neal as the number one option. The team still felt like playing through Shaq was their best opportunity to win, with Kobe as the number two. This is why, if Kobe was the number one option, because the conversation, Mr. Winter, was about who the number one option was and the number two option was. If Kobe felt he was the number one option, then there would never have been this clash of forces in 04 that led to the demise of the Lakers. If you guys said that Kobe was the number one, how come Kobe didn't feel like he was the number one? Because he's the one that went rogue on the team. These things happened already in NBA history. It's part of Kobe's story. It's part of his legacy. It's actually part of what makes him great. Thank you, Anthony. He says, diehard Laker Kobe fan, but I'm never saying he was the number one option over Shaq. This is what real fans actually say. But when you want to pretend and you want to say dumb stuff, you say bad talking points. Well, Danny Mac, I drop the link all the time. If you have any evidence to support that Shaquille O'Neal was not the best player in the NBA from 1999 to 2002, if you have any evidence to support that Kobe was the number one option over Shaquille O'Neal, then give it to me. King Rose. Oh, no, they weren't a flawed team. They were the best team in the NBA. How's the best team in the NBA in 04 flawed? How was the best team in the NBA 04 flawed? They were toxic. The flaw was they were toxic because of Kobe Bryant. Just tell the truth. The team became toxic because of Kobe Bryant. This is when they had to come up with hand signals to everyone on the team to say, this is when we stop passing the ball to Kobe. Tell the truth. Awful talking, boys. That's how Scap cooked Gil. Gil never mentioned any of this stuff. But King Rose speech, when I drop the link, you can come try to cook me. Y'all always want to talk about other conversations with other people. Scap is not here. Gil is not here. If you feel like Scap cooked Gil, Gil goes live every single day of the week for you to go into his chat and tell Gil Scap cooked you. If you feel that way. I'm not Gil. Gil's not me. Scap ain't here. If you feel like Scap cooked Gil, when Scap goes live, go to his live and say, Scap, I feel like you cooked Gil. Why y'all telling me? What does that have to do with FYF Sports? That's what and one of the other talking points is a lot of the things y'all come over here and cry about because y'all don't like really talking about the truth. Is y'all will come over here and cry. Y'all never go to these other channels. I never see y'all in DreamersPro channel crying, saying, DreamersPro, I would love for you just to speak about the NBA Finals. Why are you talking about LeBron so much? Never do that. Danny Mac said, it's not about who the number one option is, Lamont. What are you talking about, Danny? All right, my God. Oh, my God. All right, y'all, look, man. We got to get back to this Brian Windhorst topic because it's just a lot of stupidity. I mean, Danny Mac just made another dumb comment. Again, I don't know where y'all minds are today, if y'all even thinking today, or if y'all even listening. It's crazy. He says they love the second place merchant LeBron. I mean, if that's what you want to call him. All right. I agree with DreamersPro mostly. King Rowe, that does not surprise me. All right. I mean, aren't you the one that told us that Frank Brakowski had a great up and under? Doesn't surprise me. So when we look at this whole Brian Windhorst conversation, what we need to identify is, was he really taking shots at LeBron James? No. He was taking shots at low-level content creators who significantly sell TMZ NBA drama because that's what fans typically gravitate to. The fans are casual and low-level IQ basketball fans. When you sit down and we start talking X's and O's, when I bring the drawing board up, people start leaving, trying to go find messy basketball talk where people are just yelling, arguing, fighting, talking about who choked, and what did this player go to the club after the game or not. It's all narrative-driven basketball talk. Just like when LeBron James was seen dancing after they lost in the playoffs. What did people talk about? Oh, LeBron, he wasn't hurt. We saw him dancing. Do y'all know how stupid you have to be to consider that real basketball talk? Is that a real story? Does that have anything to do with basketball or where a player's greatness falls? And this is what motivates people like GOAT James Kingdom to pull up the clips of Michael Jordan as soon as he lost to the Boston Celtics. What did Michael Jordan say? I'm just trying to get to this casino and gamble some more, man. I don't care about the loss. So then GOAT James Kingdom says, all right, if LeBron can't dance a few weeks after he's ousted from the playoffs, well, Jordan, right after getting swept by the Boston Celtics, is wanting to go to the casino. Since these guys are supposed to live on the basketball court and not do anything else. And so now we go tit for tat with the messiness. And somebody like GOAT James Kingdom is crazy enough to go there with you. And when he shows you that your favorite players were doing the same thing, then y'all get mad. GOAT James Kingdom, why you pulling up this video? Why you doing that? Why y'all still trying to tear Jordan down? Then y'all get mad. So, or we can just keep it basketball and keep everything on even playing ground. People like GOAT James Kingdom don't got to expose Michael Jordan every night. And yeah, and yeah, a lot of you casuals at the bottom of the floor who don't know how to talk basketball, y'all can actually start learning the game. No, King wrote, these are not whataboutisms. Michael Jordan, after getting swept by the Boston Celtics, was in the locker room saying he did not care and that he was ready to go to the casino. These are facts. LeBron James, weeks removed from the playoffs, you see him dancing and you guys claim that he had a fake. Have any of you guys had any MCL injuries? I tore my MCL and was hooping the next day. See, a lot of you guys are too stupid to realize what these injuries actually are. If you tear your ACL, okay, probably not going to be walking the next day. I literally was hooping and I felt my MCL pop. What's the difference between MCLs and ACLs? MCLs, you can continue to play on them because once you tear your MCL, it's only about pain tolerance. And for some people like me, if mine didn't even swell up, it just hurt one day. The next day it was a little sore, but I still played on it. Then it just becomes about pain tolerance. So a lot of people get their MCLs repaired just because it's just pain. And it comes and goes. No, I didn't get crossed, and you really don't tear your MCL. So MCL injuries happen, or they're called impact injuries. So MCL injuries typically happen when you jump up for a layup or dunk and you land. It's an impact injury. And mine's happened when I was doing a step back. So I obviously planted, pushing the step back, and I felt something pop in my knee. And I actually played and finished the game because it didn't immediately start hurting. But then after the game, I'm like, damn, it started hurting really bad the next day. And it hurt for like 2 days. And then the pain went away. I played a little bit more, and then after I played, it would start hurting again. You can walk and do everything that you typically do with a torn MCL. No, Najee the chosen one. This is not me being a doctor. This is just coming from the standpoint of all you have to do is hope to know these things. Look at what Tyson just said. He says most people don't even have surgery. Thank you. Most people don't even get surgery because a lot of times, and I didn't get surgery on mine because a lot of times the surgery is just too expensive. I mean, the only people that typically get surgeries on torn MCLs are athletes. Common everyday people, if you're somebody like King Rowe and he's in his backyard, if he's in his backyard cutting his grass like we saw Herm doing, and he steps wrong and tears his MCL, there's no doctor in the world that's going to recommend King Rowe to get his MCL surgically repaired. He doesn't do anything. He don't do anything. It's going to be a little bit painful. It can heal over time. Take some pain medication and stay off your knee. But see, what happens is, y'all, you got idiots who don't know what these injuries are. You got dumb people. They hear torn MCL and they think you're supposed to be sitting on the couch every day doing absolutely nothing. It's supposed to be in so much pain, your knee needs to be propped up somewhere. You need to be in a cast or crutches. Because these people, remember, we're talking about low-level casuals that chase TMZ news topics. They push these stories and these narratives because they themselves do not know. They have absolutely zero experience hooping. And remember, to tear your MCL, you just need high school level experience. Because if you played in high school, if you didn't do any damage to your MCL, maybe you saw somebody else. If you played in college, maybe you didn't damage your MCL, but maybe somebody else did around you. And so you start to see what an MCL injury looks like. How do we know what an ankle sprain looks like? Because either we've sprained our own ankle or somebody else around us has sprained our ankle. And so we see that there are various degrees of an ankle sprain. And certain people can come back from them quicker than others. But we all know that there are certain injuries like Achilles, ACL. Well, you're man down from there. Even though in some instances we've seen people play on torn ACLs. Very rare, but it's been done. So what we're saying is the low-level basketball minds that Brian Windhorst was targeting was people who like to run with narratives like that. They don't know the game. They don't even know what an MCL injury is. They don't even know that you can, when you have a torn MCL, you can go hoop the next day and be fine. But they don't know. This is what we talking about, y'all. This is what we talking about. Thank you, Leslie Barber. Leslie Barber says the torn MCL can heal on its own. Sometimes it's just a matter of a bone bruise. Thank you. But see, Leslie Barber, this is how we know you've done something athletic in your life. People like King Rowe in the chat who was talking about, fake MCL injury. People like Mr. Winters who be pushing that narrative. They have not done anything athletic in their entire lives. They don't know these things. They think you're supposed to be laying at home in a bed with your knee propped up. This is the people that Brian Windhorst was talking about. They just chase storylines. These aren't strays for King Rowe. These are facts because King Rowe and Mr. Winters were the ones talking about LeBron faked the MCL injury. How do we now know that Mr. Winters has not done anything with regards to a basketball in real life? Because he just said somebody who's walking around and dancing is faking an MCL injury. Dan Morgan. You can play on a fully torn MCL. You can play on a partially torn MCL. Are you an idiot? You know how I noticed Dan Morgan? Because I did it. But see, when we're dealing with people that don't know the game, these are the talking points that they will run with. And see, They get mad at me because I now have to call it out. Let me get to these super chats because we had a couple of people send a super chat. Obviously, we had Anthony with the $5 super chat earlier. Salute to Anthony. If you want to send a super chat, the link is pinned to the top of the screen. It's going to take you over to FYF Sports Clips, where you can go over there. You can send a super chat, and we will address it immediately. And salute to OG of the channel, Najee, the chosen one. He says, LeBron, we trust LeBron is better than Kobe and MJ. Salute to Najee, the chosen one. We got Lee in the chat. He says, Lamont, please don't do this. You already know the type of basketball fans you're attracting by doing this. Look, somebody has to put them on the right course of correction. Right? Now people like Mr. Winters, he can no longer run with the MCL. He can't say he's uneducated about MCLs. Because before he could have pretended that LeBron was faking an MCL. Now he's educated about it. Right? I'm sure when I drop the link, Mr. King Rowe and Mr. Winters, they're going to come up here with some story of a torn MCL that nobody in their life has ever heard of. We got Jalen Spicer in here. He says, I tore my ACL in high school. I was out for 6 months playing college football. Tore my MCL. I hugged it out for a year. Thank you. And you probably meant to say thugged it out for a year, but I get what you're saying. Anybody that's done any type of sport who's torn their MCL knows you can keep playing. It only becomes about pain tolerance. Every time I show up, Lamont puts King Rowe. Everybody in the chat has been seeing what you've been typing. King Rowe, no, what I'm saying is I don't believe you know what an MCL injury is. I don't think you've been around sports, athletes, enough to know what a real MCL is. If you're going to run with the notion that LeBron was faking an MCL injury just because he was dancing later on, tells me you know nothing about sports injuries. And you typically know nothing about sports injuries when you have never played a sport. How do you typically find out about injuries in sports? Playing the sport. Well, my bad, King Rowe. Maybe I'm connecting you too much with Mr. Winters. Mr. Winters has conveniently stopped typing in the chat. So let's not connect you too much so with Mr. Winters' takes. Even though you have directly aligned yourself with DreamersPro's takes because you say that you are a huge fan of his basketball takes. Because you just said in the chat, I kind of agree with DreamersPro. So if you kind of agree with DreamersPro, that means you kind of align yourself with the same talking point, which puts you in that same bundle of bad basketball takes as Mr. Winters. King Rowe, yeah, I know. Frank Bukowski had a great up and under. We know you have your own basketball. We know you have your own. We know you have your own GOAT criteria. The same GOAT criteria that we put in the chat GPT that said LeBron James was the GOAT. We know that you have a lot of this stuff. Thank you. See, now we hitting everybody with everybody that's playing on a Torms MCL. No, and Leslie Barber, this is somewhat of the topic because I'm going to drop the link. When I drop the link, we're going to talk about all these topics, right? We're going to talk about all these topics that's on the docket today, right? So again, I think when LeBron responded, I think LeBron was responding in a sense to Brian Windhorst, basically saying there are basketball minds out there that want to absorb the game. There are people out there that want to learn the game in an elevated manner. And I think LeBron James is identifying them fans saying that there are. I think even Awful, what's his name? Awful Basketball, the dude who goes ranting and raving, even in a sense, he kind of proved it because he does some great breakdowns. Now, obviously, he has the entertainment factor with the yelling and whatnot. But I think he even kind of proved that fans want to see the actual basketball breakdowns. When you got people like Legend of Winning, actual basketball breakdowns, right? Willing to pull up the film, break it down slowly, talk about what's actually happening on the court, right? There are people out there that have shown, and I think Brian Windhorst, because he's been so attached to ESPN, and because typically the fans that he sees are the super casuals. Yeah, awful coaching. My bad, Zero. Awful coaching. I think because Brian Windhorst has been so attached to ESPN and the low-level basketball IQ of fans on ESPN, I think the only thing he thinks exists out there are fans like Mr. Winters and fans like King Rowe, low-level basketball minds that only chase narratives, that only want the TMZ level talking points. But now we're in a different age now. We're in a different age, and people are now gravitating to real basketball talk, especially when it's done by people like LeBron James, who we really don't get too many opportunities to see LeBron really sit down and talk the game, right? When we know that this is one of the greatest basketball minds that's ever walked the planet Earth, now we can start to hear what's going through his head in these moments when he sees something happen on the basketball court or with another team, how he's breaking it down on his mind. Now we are starting to really get inside the mind of a LeBron James. And I think that's why, at least for me, it's super interesting to see these shows, because what is Steve Nash like? To see Steve Nash really do a video breaking down how his approach to the pick and roll. It's crazy to like really see this, and ultimately surprises me at how simplistic his approach is. What are they looking at? What are they trying to do? How are they trying to manipulate defenses? This is what I'm getting from it. But I think the sad part about it is also when you do those shows, and LeBron James will ultimately start saying, is you're going to have a lot of the low-level casual fans who try to gravitate to that content, and what they pull from them shows are going to be stuff like remember when LeBron James was doing a show with JJ Redick? People were coming back saying like sports and fitness, and they were saying, oh, LeBron James is throwing his teammates under the bus. Well, no, LeBron James is not throwing his teammates under the bus. He's doing a breakdown. If you feel that's throwing your teammates under the bus, well, so be it. That's just you getting emotional about the results. We got another super chat, man. Let me give a shout out to MNMATL with the $9.99 super chat. He says, Lamont, I play football. He said, I played 2 football games with an MCL injury. Non-athletes don't know what an injury looks or feels like. Facts. If I was lying about the MCL, y'all know how many people who had MCL injuries would have told me I was lying? The only reason why I remember when I tore my MCL is because I've never felt anything pop in my knee. And when I planted trying to do that step back, it was the first time when something pops in your knee, no one else can hear it, but in your mind and your body, it's like the loudest noise in your ears. And you hear it. I'm in a gym full of people yelling, XY. I'm talking about all types of stuff going on. Intercoms going off. When I planted and I pushed and I tried to step back off my left leg, I heard that pop, and it was the only sound I could hear. And I'm like, damn, something popped in my knee. And it's not that you even feel it. You almost hear it, which is crazy right there, man. So salute to Eminem ATL, and salute to all the athletes out there, man. You don't have to be an NBA player to know these things. You don't have to be a D1 college player to know these things. Players who play JUCO, players who played college, players who just play pickup, high school, middle school. Anybody that's picked up a ball and played a sport at a team level should know these things. And the fact that some of y'all have these egregious takes is wild. We got Newman. He says LeBron can't break shit down. Okay. If you feel like LeBron can't break nothing down, okay. What I want you to do, Newman, is when I drop the link, I want you to come up here and I want you to tell us about. When I pull up his film on the Mind the Game podcast, I want you to tell us about how he's struggling to break the game down. And I'll allow you to walk us through why he doesn't sound like he's breaking the game down intelligently. And what you can do is you can literally show us step by step what you're talking about, so we can get a better understanding of what the hell you're talking about. Because we don't want to just run with that narrative, Newman. We want you to be able to show and prove it. If I pull up some film from the Mind the Game podcast, will you be able to show and prove it, Newman? Will you be able to walk us through it? Ancient Warrior says, Lamont, you have no integrity, bro. And you're less of a man taking up for Goofy James. Okay. When I drop the link, Ancient Warriors, you can explain to the people how I have no integrity. And you can explain to the people how I'm less of a man for taking up for Goofy James, Ancient Warriors. I'm going to give y'all the opportunity to explain these games. I will give you the floor, the mic, to explain to the people how I have zero integrity. Because ultimately, you would be the one that has no integrity if you are too afraid to hit the link to stand on what you say, to back up what you say with stats, facts, data. Are you going to be able to do that, Ancient Warriors? And then when I offer the link, what happens when I offer the link, y'all? People start skedaddling and start running amok. All of a sudden, they in the middle of a construction job on a crane, 75 feet in the air, and they can't hop on the stream yard. All of a sudden, we talk to people in the chat. I'm in a library right now. Who still goes to the library? I'm in a library right now. I can't be loud. When I drop that link, all of a sudden, it's the crazy excuses in the world. I done heard guys say, man, I'm laying in bed next to my baby mama. I can't get on. What? Go to the other room. All right. And we're going to talk to, and I'm going to kind of save the Patience and Thunder talk for the panel when y'all come up here. Obviously, I've given y'all my thoughts on it. We'll talk about that. Before I drop the link, I want to show y'all one thing. Let me pull it up real quick. Because I want to show you guys my picks from yesterday, and then how I came up with those picks, and the resource that I use to come up with those picks. I'm going to show you guys all three of those things real quick, and then we are going to drop that link so that you guys can come up here and cook on these topics today, man. Any of the topics that we talked about today. But let me show this to you guys. And so the one reason why I'm showing this to you guys, y'all, is because I had a long stretch on Prize Picks where I was struggling to be consistent, right? Maybe I would have a win here or there, but then the next 4, 5, 6, 7 days, lose. And I'm just like, what's going on? Right. So I think I found a method. And so there's going to be a lot of people, y'all. There are a lot of companies that sell this data. They're going to try to charge you $50 a week. I've seen people charge $199 a week just to get access to information like this. I'm going to show you how simple it is to identify the best plays. And at most, it's only going to cost you $5 a week. And you're not paying it to me. That's just the $5 you pay to the company that gives the information. All right. So, and I'm going to show you where I went wrong initially when I got the information, but then how I was able to organize the information to get some conclusive data to give me the best picks. Are these picks guaranteed hits? No. But are they more consistent with than what we come up in our brains? For sure. Yes. Let me show y'all this right here. Actually, let me go to my screen real quick. And I'm about to share my screen so you guys can check this out. All right. And I'm going to put the name of the program that I use in the chat. Because when I first show you this screen, it's just going to look like a whole bunch of nonsense. And I'm going to tell y'all why. Don't even worry about what you're about to see right now, because I'm going to show you what you do. I'm going to zoom in on it so y'all can see a little bit better. All right, here we go right here. So this is what I used right here, right? It's an app that you can download on your phone. It's called LineStar. LineStar, LINESTAR. It's a LineStar app. It costs $5 a week. Literally $5 a week to use this app. All right. And so when you use this app, right, and you're doing something with Prize Picks, as y'all can see on the top of my screen, I have everything filtered already. Props. I've selected Prize Picks at the top as the sports book that I'm using, right? And so this is what I did. So y'all see all of this information, right? So it has information on each player for each potential play, right? Nimberhard points, Benedict Mathurin's points. It literally has pick after pick, and it has tons of information. So when you look at this information, right, it has information on these players that, you know, that you can see go all the way down here, right? Oh, hold on, I messed that up. Well, it has information on these players from odds to edge. I mean, all of this. When y'all see this information, y'all, when you get this app, so when you get this app, what you want to do is you're going to scroll to the top, and there's a button right here that says Props AI. All you want to do is click the Props AI button. It's going to take you to all the prop plays. Don't try to sit here and break down the information, y'all. Okay? And salute to Grape Tea News as well. Make sure y'all go check out the channel. All right, great channel over there. They're always cooking up on some crazy topics. But so when you see all this information over here, the first mistake I made was sitting here trying to break down and understand all this data. You can't understand it. And Tyson, I'm going to show you why the $5 a week is valuable. Okay, so you see this data. It talks about points. It talks about the odds, what the odds are on other sports books. It says edge percentage, edge difference. All this data, all you have to do, you guys, right? Our minds are not supercomputers. So what we want to do is, who can take this data and break it down much faster than we can? And the first thing I said was, well, shit. I said, ChatGPT knows how to break down data faster than us. So what I do is you would copy and paste all this data. I'm going to show you. So what I would normally do is I would copy and paste all this data, right? And I'm just going to highlight it all, and I'm going to copy it all, and I'm going to take all of this data over to ChatGPT. And as y'all can see, I told ChatGPT at the top what I wanted to do. So at the top, I said, ChatGPT. Hold on, y'all. Let me get the spammer out. So I said, ChatGPT, would you like to do some NBA prop plays on Prize Picks for the NBA Finals? I have the data that I can give you about the players. Can you analyze the data and give me the top 10 potential plays for the night? That's literally all I said. It said, all right. I ended up giving ChatGPT all of the data. And once I gave ChatGPT all of the data, this is what it came up with. Obi Toppin, free throws made. Alex Caruso, free throws made. Hardenstein, Siakam. So it literally gave me all the potential plays. It's because it was able to sort through all of the data, come up with what was best. Now, I took the information. I didn't have to read through it all and try to disseminate it. I let ChatGPT do all the work. And when I come over here to Prize Picks, y'all, I'm going to show y'all my results from yesterday. And I'm going to show you my NBA results. So yesterday, here are my results from yesterday. Right? Just using the ChatGPT data. My first lineup, a 5-pick, won $100. My second lineup didn't win any money on a power play, won $4 here. Won another $4, and then I also won $60 on a baseball play. Because I did the same thing with baseball. But what we're seeing here is, and remember, this is off of a $40 investment. So I put $40 in. I ended up winning over $100. That's where your $5 comes from. I just took their picks. I used their picks how they said it. I asked it, okay, put them in the different props for me. I'll play them. I told it my budget, and it gave me the plays, and I ended up winning. So I want y'all to show y'all that this has been super consistent, because even yesterday, if you look at my baseball plays, I won $60 on a baseball play, another $4 here, $10 here, $4, another $60 right there. I'm winning all this money. I'm winning all this money, but this is the most consistent I've ever been. Is it $1,000 or $2,000 at a time? No. But when you're putting $30 in, $20 in, and then you're able to withdraw, like yesterday, I withdrew $260 off a $30 investment. The day before that, I withdrew $300. The day before that, I withdrew $400. Hey, and Isaac, the beauty of this right here is, let me show you a play. You can tell ChatGPT where the goblins are, the demons and the goblins are on Prize Picks, and it will tell you which ones are the best that can hit the best. So, for example, I have one right here. So if I won, see, look at all these wins right here, y'all. Look at all these wins. 12. I won 250 on this one right here. Right? Because I went with a green goblin on Yelich. Right? But there's other ones where I also went with some red goblins in one big. Right? I mean, look at how this adds up. $12.50, $250, $35, $50, $15, another $50 right here, another $45, $17.50, another $10. These are all wins. And I don't know nothing about baseball. Y'all think I'm doing this because I know? I don't know nothing about baseball. All I did was I copied and pasted all the information from the Line Star app, put it in the ChatGPT, told it to give me the best plays, and I just listened to what ChatGPT said. Now, do I win every single time? No. But I'm winning more. I'm winning. This is the most. I've never won this much on Prize Picks. Once you stick to something this consistent. So again, I want y'all to check it out. Some of y'all wanted to know what I do. It's very simple what I've been doing. If y'all want to follow my picks for today, let me show you some of my lineups for today. If you want to follow these picks, feel free to write them down and follow them. These are the plays that ChatGPT gave me for today. These are some baseball plays right here. So again, if y'all want to screenshot it, if y'all want to follow the picks, feel free to follow them. I'll zoom in so you can see it. These are my picks for today. And I'll scroll so you can always come back to the video. You can always come back to the video and check it out. I'm about to drop the link so y'all can pull up. I just wanted to show y'all this method. If you want to follow my picks for today, make sure y'all I want you to go to my YouTube community post. Click the link for Prize Picks. Get you a $50 free to bet with. Once you make a deposit, and I want you to come follow my picks for today. These are my MLB props. Tomorrow, I'm definitely gonna be doing NBA. I'm gonna do the NBA ones live. I'm going to do the NBA ones live, y'all. All right, here's another one right here. And then we got this one right here. So again, I want y'all to follow these picks. I'm trying to scroll so y'all can see them. I'm not going to go through them all, but you can always come back to the video. You can follow the picks as you see them. So I got some props. I got some 2 plays. And so when you see the ones that are smaller like this, the smaller props like this are usually the safer plays, right? $10 for $55 win. These are the safer plays or potentially safer plays. Can you bet WNBA? Yes, you can bet WNBA. If y'all want me to do a stream, showing you how I go through the whole process of copying everything, putting it in the ChatGPT, getting the WNBA, I think WNBA will be a profitable one as well because WNBA players seem to be the most consistent with their stats. It's just typically how it is. But I mean, again, everything that you think you know, you probably are wrong about it. The one thing about using AI and ChatGPT is it doesn't go off feelings. It only goes off logic and consistency and probabilities. And I think in our mind, we start thinking things too hard, and it's hard for us to go with certain picks because, damn, this dude, man, we got too many emotional ties and connections to players, teams, and picks and momentum and things of that nature. This is all mathematical. This is all probability using the numbers to give yourself an advantage, y'all. And you can give yourself an advantage, man, with Prize Picks, y'all. All right. Make sure y'all go to the community tab, click the link in the community tab that's going to take you to Prize Picks. Use that code, use that link to sign up. You're going to get $50 of free money to play with. Follow these picks so you can flip that money and win some money, y'all. Follow these picks right here. If you want me to do NBA or I'm doing my NBA one for tomorrow. I'm gonna be going live before the game tomorrow. I'm gonna walk you guys through my NBA props, and we're gonna cook on that one as well. But if y'all want a little bit more information on it, just tune in during tomorrow's live right before the game, and I'm gonna be able to give y'all the NBA picks as well, man. And we'll kind of see where that takes us. I'm gonna drop this link so we can get y'all up here to cook. Make sure if you want to support the channel, man, hit the PayPal. Make sure y'all, we shut the Cash App down. We shut the Cash App down. So make sure you're not sending anything to that old Cash App. We shut that one down because right now we're setting up a business Cash App. And once that business Cash App is set up and that account is fully set up, I'm gonna let you guys know. But yeah, we shut that Cash App down. So if you do want to support the channel, make sure you send any donations to the channel. Send it to PayPal. The PayPal is in the chat. If you want to super chat, the super chat link is pinned to the top. It's just going to take you over to FYF Sports Clips, where you can send a super chat, and we'll get super chat messages are immediate priority. We'll get to your question or comment immediately from there. I'm gonna go ahead and drop this link if y'all want to come cook on the topics today. I know a few of y'all had something to say about the Kobe thing. I know a lot of y'all want to talk about this Pacers Indiana series. I definitely do. I've been telling y'all, look, and I told y'all before game one, the Pacers are better than what you think they are. I told y'all this. Now, saying that they're going to win the series, I don't know. I mean, to say that you're going to beat OKC in a 7-game series is a very tall task. But for the people that were saying that they were going to sweep Indiana, that this is going to be a boring NBA Finals, I don't know what you've been watching. The Pacers, the Pistons, the Knicks, 3 teams without any major superstars, not any big faces or names. Those teams probably played the most exciting brand of basketball that we've seen in a long time. And they did it all without big superstars or superstar names. The Pistons, to me, were my favorite to watch in the first round. The Knicks, surprisingly enough, were fun to watch. The Pacers, extremely fun to watch. And it's just been like that all throughout the playoffs. I mean, we've gotten good basketball from the great teams. We've gotten good basketball from the bottom teams, from the mid-level teams. It's just been crazy all around the board. But we got a couple guys up here right now. Salute to King Rowe, George, Mahar. King Rowe's up first, man. King Rowe, man, what's good, man? What you got on this?
What's good, man? Okay, yeah, man. So right there, I always like to start where I agree with you, Lamont. I always like to start where I agree with you because we agree on a lot more than you realize. Now, as far as this, yes, we do. No. See, that's the problem. Y'all get once we get off the rails, that's when y'all just go off. Y'all go off the rails. Now, I agree. Great playoff basketball. These teams that are surprising everybody shouldn't have. The Pacers shouldn't surprise nobody. Like they play great offense. Kay Cunningham is next up. Jalen Brunson in the Knicks. Like, bro, he's the after Giannis, he's the leading scorer in the playoffs. You know, there's some great teams. And this finals, as I said on my channel, this finals is for diehard basketball fans, not NBA fans, not casual fans.
Not true.
But it should be for everybody. I'll put it this way: it should be for everybody. But
you know what kills that narrative, though, King Rowe?
Go ahead.
Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers are fun to watch for anybody. How do I know this? Look at the farmers in Indiana. Look at the people that don't care about basketball, all rooting for the Pacers to win. I mean,
right.
The Pacers are one of the most fun teams to watch in the league. And a lot of y'all don't even know their names. Y'all don't know no Niche Smith, but they fun to watch because what do they do every time they touch the basketball? They flying up and down the court, playing a ridiculous pace, right? They flying, they on the move, they getting shots up, they defending well, and you don't know half their names. So, and all you have to do is watch.
Probably can't pronounce it.
Well, number one, I played the Pacers last year, so I know all they guys, and I know Obi Toppin. I know Obi Toppin personally. I played with his father. Okay, that's the home court right there, Obi Toppin. So the fact that I'm killing Leon Rose, for giving him up for 2 second round picks in 28 and 29. I'm killing him when he comes back to bite us in the ass. And OKC last night, you saw Obi Toppin was killing in the second half. So again, like I said, this finals is fun. But then I'm looking at guys that I talk basketball with in these panels. Oh, I ain't watched that. I'm like, bro, this was a great game. This was a great team. Indiana, with all them turnovers, still stay close. Like I've been saying, you got to kill that team. That team got too much firepower to think a 12-point lead is putting them away. I know this personally. I saw games. So now, as a Knicks fan, I'm a little vindicated seeing a 68-14 team who I'm going to say, if they win this series, is one of the great all-time teams, which a lot of things point to that. I'm digging this finals. I'm digging these whole playoffs. And a lot of guys who should be pushed. Cade Cunningham should be pushed as a household name. Halliburton there, Halliban, the whole everything they calling them now, all the nicknames. These guys should be pushed, but they want to push the old guys over 35. There's other guys that's next up. And there's other teams that are great teams. You know what I'm saying? So we in an era of parity. I've said this before. Nobody's going to repeat in this decade. Whoever wins the championship next year is going to be a new championship. This is like the 70s. No repeat champions. So.
Hey, Lamont, can I say my thoughts there real quick?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I'm specifically wanting to talk about the game.
George, let me talk.
I specifically want to talk about the game. I don't care about the narrative surrounding the game. I think the Pacers and OKC.
Cool.
I think they've already done a good job of dispelling the narratives that this is going to be boring. I think that game 1 killed that out the gate. This about to be exciting than a motherfucker.
Exciting as hell.
Bro. At the end of the day, all the people that say they ain't gonna watch.
Right.
Well, if you weren't gonna watch, I guarantee you tuning in for game 2 after seeing the highlights for game 1. So at the end of the day, all the people that and when the people say that they aren't gonna watch, those are people pretending. So I want y'all to always be mindful of this before you go, Mahar. Anybody that talks about, I'm saying I'm not gonna watch, they always are going to watch. They're just lying. Because people who love basketball, it's hard to get them to turn away from basketball, right?
Yep.
And so, this is just people. This is their way of trying to express their hate because they don't like this era, right? So they're going to always say they're not going to watch, but they're always going to watch, even if it's just to cry and complain about something. But this Pacer OKC series is about to be really good. Now I don't know who's going to win. There's no real prediction, but. I mean, the Pacers came in and stole home court as they've done in all of these series.
Yep.
And we saw how these series have kind of turned out when you allow the Pacers, as I said before, to play ahead. When they are front runners, it's hard to beat this Pacer team. Now, OKC has been down. They were down to Denver and they fought back. This is going to be a monumental task for the Pacers to win 3 games. But the Pacers have shown when they go up, they are tough to beat. Go ahead, Mahari, and then I'm gonna go to George.
The big thing that really stood out to me was that OKC pretty much almost outplayed them. They forced a lot of turnovers, but they weren't converting a lot of those turnovers that they forced. But the one glaring thing that I also noticed when I'm looking at the stat lines of the game, Indiana outshot OKC percentage-wise. They dominated the boards, and more importantly, too, they kept the game close within range during that time. Even when OKC was up by as many as 14, it just felt like the game wasn't as a blowout as many people would say it would be. And I'm just sitting here like, I think the Pacers might steal this because including when they were down 94-79 with about 9.5 minutes to go in the game. And I don't know if Indiana practices this kind of full court pressure type defenses, the way they play that schizophrenic type of defense. If they practice that a lot, I got to say that's just genius because the way they pressure at full court and the way they make teams scramble is just they're just more effective that way. And a lot of teams have not been able to figure that out yet.
I think this right here. Whenever a team is down, the only way they can come back is if they get more shot attempts up.
Right.
What's the number one way to get more shot attempts up when you're down? Speed the other team up. OKC fell into the trap of the Pacers. Pacers were down, and the Pacers said, we're the ones that need to score. We're the ones that need to catch up. So all they did was they start picking up full court with fake traps, and they just sped OKC up. And then the second thing they did, and I said this before the series started, I said, if they can find a way themselves, or if the NBA makes a concerted effort to balance the whistle, because what I said before, the significant advantage that OKC has had this entire playoffs is that they've been allowed to play physical with teams while other teams can't play physical with them.
I agree.
That's the advantage.
Sounds like the Lakers.
Okay, we're not talking about the Lakers, unfortunately. We're talking about OKC.
Go ahead.
And I said, if that whistle balances out, or if the Pacers find a way to defend without fouling, I said OKC has shown themselves to be very average if you get them to play half-court basketball and they're not living on the free throw line. Shea got his 30 points the hard way yesterday. I think he only went to the free throw line, 8 times?
Only 8 times.
Yep. Yeah, less than his average. Yep.
And a lot of those were and a lot of those free throw attempts came at the end of the game. What I'm saying is they did a good job for the majority of that game, keeping him off the free throw line, defending him with physicality. And what I appreciate out of the Pacers the most that nobody's going to say is that unlike the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Minnesota Timberwolves let the foul calls frustrate them and change how they play defense.
So do the Knicks.
The Pacers on the other end said, okay, if you make a dumb call, I don't give a damn. I'm still going to play the same way. I'm still going to be physical. And then when it came down to that last play at the end of the game, right, where Nembhard, again, him and Nesmith and Siakam, they did a hell of a job defensively. That last play, it came down to physicality on Gilgeous-Alexander. He did a good job of cutting off the drive, got handsy, physical, got into the ball, made him take a tough shot. At the end of the shot clock, he missed it, and that's what opened the door for them to win the game. And so when you see that whistle start to balance and SGA is not getting maybe calls that he would have gotten in other series, this is the type of OKC team that we're seeing. But again, things can change in the blink of an eye. Like OKC can come out and win by 60 the next game. That's just how good
we know that.
You know? And that's the scary part about OKC is when they lock in, they lock the fuck in, and it's over with. So
can I say something about Nesmith right quick?
Oh, wow, bro.
I just want to put one thing in there, bro. I just want to Nesmith is a 50, 40, 90 play, and a lot of people don't know that. It's on you, George. Okay. I just want to put one point in there.
This is what I got from the game, is that they played above the refs. They didn't let them rattle them, like Lamont said. And there were key moments in the game where I think they felt momentum. One is the block. One is when Nembhard took SCJ one-on-one at the top of the key, and they played fearless. They always every time they got up in front, they knocked them back down, and then the no timeout, where the coach trusted them to do what needed to be done, and that collapsing defense that OKC plays, it got to them, and the threes start falling.
Line right there, man. But Mahari, can you do me a favor real quick?
What's up?
Can you hold it down for like 5 minutes? I gotta give one of my players a call real quick. But can you hold it down for 5 minutes? I'm gonna put the link in the chat. If anybody wants to come up on the panel, I'll still be able to add you to the panel. I just got to make a quick call real quick. So if you can hold it down for me, Mahari, for like 5 minutes, I'd be much appreciated, man. Hold on, let me drop this link in the chat one more time for the people that want to pull up. And if y'all do pull up, I'll still be able to add you. I just got to step away real quick. Go ahead and cook, Mahari.
All right, so let's continue on with the show while Lamont's take care of his business. So I think one of the big things I was going to say real quick before I pass it up to George, because George hasn't spoken a lot. But the one thing that I will say when it comes to the Indiana Pacers is that you got to take them out while you still got a chance. I just felt like OKC let them off the hook. The thing is, when you force that many turnovers, you got to take advantage of the other team's mistakes. They only had 10 points off of those turnovers. So we know OKC is going to adjust and then take advantage of those mistakes. I think if you're Indiana, the one thing you have to do is you got to take care of the ball better. There were a lot of times in the first half where they're ball handling and a lot of their passes were pretty much they weren't even that good of passes though, and they weren't protecting the ball well. But go ahead, George.
Okay, another thing that I noticed about this game is that to me their defense kind of equals out the turnovers. So like you said, they only scored 9 points off of turnovers.
Correct.
So they are out there playing defense against these guys too. And I didn't like about OKC, why do you want to change your game now in the finals that you've been playing all year long? No matter who their opponent is, I don't think they should have changed their lineup. I don't think they never did change the way they play, but they changed their lineup, and I think that was a kind of detriment to this first game.
Well, I'll say like this though. I think it's more or less of the fact that when it comes to OKC, I think the Pacers' pace of the game dictated how OKC was going to adjust their lineup. Now, I think the one thing that I think OKC has to do is that they got to manipulate the pace. I think that if they try to play a track and field type of a game with Indiana, they're not going to win that because Indiana's mastered that to a science. I mean, you saw what they've done in these playoffs. I think that what they're going to have to do is be more physical and then also seek the contact a little bit more. But here's the big factor, though. The big factor is the whistle. And I saw this in the Minnesota series because the guards of Minnesota, they let the whistles get in their heads. If Indiana continues to play physical and ignores the whistles, I think it's going to even things out. Because I think the problem with a lot of teams is that when you get so many calls goes against you, you get mad, you get frustrated to the point where you just do dumb things on the defensive end. So that's what I kind of think of it.
There's no point in arguing foul calls because at the end of the day, like you said, you play your game, it's going to even out. I think Carlisle is another guy that's being underrated. He's a top 5 coach. Right now, he's a top 5 coach, right? He's already a Hall of Famer, in my opinion. Dallas and this team has already cemented it. Indiana runs both ways. They run on defense, they can press you on defense, and they run on offense. And that's, they're deep. They're not scared to use guys at the end of the bench. They got weapons like Thomas Bryant with them corner threes. He finished my Knicks off with that. You know, I mean, I've played 2 playoff series, 7 games and a 6th game in the last, so I know Indiana a lot. So when, again, like I was saying, Neesmith, 50, 40, 90, plus he plays great defense. People need to realize that the Celtics drafted him and traded him. I forget who they traded him for, but, obviously they put him to good use. I drafted Obi. We traded him, for nothing. Bro. He's not going to give you much on defense. See, everything, you know what it is with teams? Certain guys are weak at stuff. Okay, well, you got to use them for this part of the game. You're not going to use Obi to be a shutdown defender. That's what you got Turner and them out there for. So you got to know when to put your pieces in, your chess pieces in the play. Every chess piece got to does a different thing. Same thing with basketball players. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Let me ask you this question, though, King Rose. So let's go on the Knicks for just a brief moment until we can get back to the finals. How do you feel about the Knicks finally dismissing Tom Thibodeau? What do you think?
First of all, I called for it even if we got to the finals. I said the only thing a championship would save his job. And even then, I still wanted him on a short leash. Carlisle got him fired. He took his lunch. All the adjustments he made is why, and again, a lot of people will say that the Pacers just got a better roster. I don't agree with that. I think when you look at the numbers, our roster, our numbers were just even. We're better, slightly better rebounding team, slightly better defensive team. But Carlisle, come playoffs, he used his chess pieces better. Period. Like, again, I've said my theme from the Detroit series. Karl-Anthony Towns has to score 4 points every quarter. That's 2 baskets. He is too talented of a player to have 4 points coming into a must-win game in the fourth quarter. And obviously, he extended the series by scoring 20 points in 7 minutes. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, go ahead.
How do you fire a coach that takes you to the Eastern Conference Finals?
I'm explaining to you now.
You know what I mean? You ain't
ahead.
been there in how many years?
Don't matter.
Years.
Don't matter. Let me tell you something. If you're in a room, if you're in a room full of girls that's a 2, and one of them is a 6, does that make her a 10? She might seem like 1. So just because the Knicks have hired bum-ass coaches for the past 20 years does not make Tibbs like he's good. He's not great, and we need great to get okay, here's the thing too, George. All four playoff series that we lost under Tibbs, we lost it with home court advantage. I could have taken losing to OKC. I could have taken losing the fourth time in a row to a lower seed with home court advantage.
None of this goes on the players you get. Everything goes on the
some
coach.
Of it do. But you know what? Again, like Karl-Anthony Towns. Well, I just made the point. It's Karl-Anthony Towns too. And again, right, he needs to be more aggressive. But here's what I see with Jalen Brunson. And again, I love Jalen Brunson, but too many look-offs. Make a concerted effort to get that man 4 points every quarter. He's too talented. You're talking 16 points minimum. But he comes into the fourth quarter with 4 points and 4 rebounds. Yes, the stupid fouls get him in foul trouble, keeps him on the bench. I get it. Again, these are things that I know. He's been in the league 11 years. He shouldn't commit the stupid fouls. But by the same token, you as a coach have got to do things to stop that. Bring in Precious Achiuwa. Play your chess pieces. So you don't have you need Karl-Anthony Towns with 3 fouls or more coming into the fourth quarter. So he can be more free. He can actually gamble a little bit more on defense. We know he's slow-footed. You understand what I'm saying? So Rick Carlisle had us well scouted, and he put his players in better position to beat us. The first game notwithstanding, you know what I'm saying? And obviously they showed you what they can do. This is a team that lost 18 games on the season. That's historic. 80-18 and 29-1 versus the West coming in against the East coming in the last night. I get it. I just think there are better minded coaches out there, George. I salute salute to Tibbs. He did a good job turning us around from nothing. But sometimes you got to go to the next level. It's like Jackson and Kerr. Maybe it's like Udoka and Mazzulla, whatever. Even though I think Udoka would have won a championship himself, but sometimes you can fire a coach and maybe the next guy just takes it, because that's the difference between winning and losing. Sometimes it's these little moves here and there, because these teams it's not like one team is a juggernaut that's neck and shoulders better. Even OKC with their record, you see that Indiana is a pretty good matchup, because when Indiana was playing their worst ball, they still kept the game in striking distance.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's settle down on the Knicks topic for now. I think the chat wants us to continue with the NBA Finals thing. Okay, so
yeah,
let's go back to that, because I think the chat's pretty much is saying like, man, Knicks are out, bro. You know what I'm saying? But
I know that it's LOL Knicks. I know that. Look, we'll talk that in the off season. We have a lot of shit to talk about.
All right. Well, let's get back to the finals topic here, y'all. So, okay. Here's a question. I think my story had a question. So the question my story has: what adjustments should the Pacers or OKC make? Let's start with George first. Go.
Well, to me,
oh God, nigga asked me a big question. I'm sorry, my bad.
OKC, no, not a next question. No more.
Never should have changed their starting lineup. You play with what you come with. You don't make changes because you're playing a different team. That's not how you won all those games. That's not your style of play. And you get players out of their rhythm because they're used to starting. And then you do the whole thing with the Mavs. Now, as far as Indiana, all Indiana has to do to me is like take care of the ball and play just a little bit aggressive defense when Hartenstein is in the game and rebound more. Other than that, don't let Indiana win game 2.
All right.
Don't even let the game be close.
All right.
OKC has to send a statement. If they don't send it, I don't know, brother.
All right. That's all right. Good assessment. Okay. We got Doors in the building here. What's going on, Doors? Hey, Doors. Your mic is muted, brother. Go ahead and unmute yourself. What's going on? Hey, Doris, brother, your mic's messed up or something. We can't hear you. Are you there?
Quickest way to do it is refresh the browser, see if it comes back better.
Yeah. Yeah, try to refresh the browser. It may be because you've got a bad connection. So.
Oh, sorry. What'd you say?
Oh, he was good then.
Okay.
I'm mute again. You muted yourself again.
Sorry, I'm driving, so my maybe I picked a bad time to hop on the panel. But what was your question?
Okay, so now we were talking about Game 1 of the NBA Finals. So we were about to talk about adjustments that each team has to make for Game 2 on Sunday. So I'll go to you, Doors. So since you're here, so let's start like this. I'll put it like this. What was your thoughts on Game 1, and what do you think the adjustments needs to be made? That's my question.
He must have hit a tunnel.
He must have hit a tunnel or something because I can't hear nothing. So,
Well, I can take the adjustment question because I didn't answer the adjustment question.
All right, well then go ahead and take that question.
Yeah, real quick.
While he gets his.
I think OKC should stay the course, realizing that a couple of shots drop, they win. They're gonna, obviously OKC is one of the toughest home courts in the, so they gotta take Game 2 now. Don't come out like because I thought, again, I don't want to talk about the other previous series, but if they've done this already now twice, right? They've taken the home court 2 games from 2 teams that was favored over them. So OKC should not, realize what Indiana does, scout them well, be able to don't play their pace, don't play their game, play your game. Hartenstein, you get killed on the rebounds. Hartenstein had 9 points and 9 rebounds in 17 minutes. So you're over adjusting, thinking that he can't stay with Turner or he can't stay with anybody. Chet had all the minutes. He had 6 and 6. Chet has got to have a better game too. That should go without saying. You're gonna get what you're gonna get from SGA, right? 38 points. You're gonna get that. Jalen Williams should play better. Just play your game, and they're gonna do it. Indiana obviously play the style that got you there, because you go 2-0, you put a chokehold on the series. It still won't be over because OKC can. Again, they've only lost 18 games, and it's the 19th game they lost all season for a reason.
Okay. All right. I dig it. So this guy, BW Warranty Department 101, I actually played against Chet Holmgren years ago when he was in high school. I don't think you would want any of those problems, bro. That dude, Chet Holmgren, actually is much more talented than you realize. He just is playing under a different type of system in OKC that basically predicates to SCA's skill set. But Chet's actually more talented than you realize. So I'd be careful with that assessment.
People who talk about who played against who, right? Brian Scalabrine came, and there's a guy that goes on my home court who gets viral because he looks like an old cab driver. And he's playing everybody one-on-one, right? He challenges Brian Scalabrine, who was 46 years old now, right? Out of the league a while. And Brian Scalabrine beat him 11-0. And Brian Scalabrine after the game said, "I'm a lot closer to LeBron than you are to me." So anybody saying that you got, these NBA players are bummed, I don't even listen to that talk, because if you make the NBA, you could be the last man on the bench, which Scalabrine was his whole career. He's closer to LeBron than you are to him, unless you play major Division I ball and overseas. He's closer to LeBron and he's closer to Kobe and whoever else you think is the best player in the world than you are to him. You're not on their level, so stop trying to down talk NBA players, because you're only speaking it from a them versus the other greatest players in the world perspective, not you.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. Okay, so I'm gonna say it like this for the adjustments here. I think that what has to happen for the Pacers, they got to take care of the ball better. I think that they need to reduce their turnovers significantly and also continue to dominate the boards. If you're able to dominate the boards, you'll get more chances to score. But also, again, if the Pacers quicken the pace again, I think OKC is going to have issues with it, because they like to play in a certain type of pace where they can pretty much play methodical type of basketball, but they can force turnovers when they get the chance. And I think that getting 10 points off the turnovers is not enough. So I think that they're going to have to do a better job when they get turnovers to take advantage of those opportunities when they get them. I think that the whistles are going to be a lot more different in Game 2. I think it's going to be much more of a friendlier, much more of a liberal whistle than it was in game one when it was conservative. I think that if the OKC Thunder establishes their physicality and starts attacking Indiana's defense, I think they're going to get more opportunities to get to the free throw line, and that's where they feast off the most. But I do think that Indiana is going to play with much more confidence, and they're going to be much more loose because they accomplished what they needed to do. They got the first game in OKC. Now they got pretty much the home court advantage. If they steal game two, that would be a huge accomplishment because then you're putting a lot more pressure on an OKC team that has seen some pressure before in these playoffs, but not this kind of pressure, especially in a bigger stage like the NBA Finals. So I think what's going to have to happen, I think that OKC just needs to continue to play, the regular rotation and not make too many, unnecessary adjustments. Just be more physical and then basically take it to Indiana. That's where I tend to think. I still got OKC in 6 games, but it's going to be a lot more closer than people realize. It's going to be very competitive.
Same here. I think they still have the advantage of point guard because SGA played better than Holly last night. Remember, before the shot, Holly only had 12 points. Holly is one of those guys. He go, again, his assist is always going to be there. What he's going to give you scoring wise is up and down. You know what I'm saying? Like he can get 30 and he can get 6. Again, I was a little overconfident because the second game of the season we held them to a donut as my Knicks. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the thing of it is that they won, and him and Siakam didn't have good games.
Yeah,
so what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen when they do have good games?
But George, they don't have a 20-point scorer in the season. They got 7 guys that get you 14, 15. And sometimes that's a great way to play too, because you got weapons all again. When you play the Pacers, realize they got weapons everywhere. They got knives and you know what I'm saying? They got knives and guns and this, that. They multiple ways to get you. Well, other people are coming with that one bazooka or whatever. They got many weapons, so they're a little bit sneaky on you, and you gotta realize you got a lot of things you got to shut down. Now, OKC, the great part about that team is everybody in that team plays defense. Everybody, like they're very interchangeable. Like their whole team, outside of the 2 big men, are between 6'4". It seems like their whole team is between 6'4" and 6'8". And then you got the 2 big men, Chet and Hartenstein, the 7-footers. But everybody else is very interchangeable, so they got a lot of defenders.
Okay, so who says that Luke Dort is going to shoot like that next game? I mean, there's a lot of things you can look at and say, this might not happen the next game.
Of course. That's insane. Really, again, I think this seems almost a mirror of the fact that Pacers play at a little bit faster pace, and again, they're both built on depth. They both and I don't think Indiana got the same individual defenders, but the way they defend as a team, they got the guys that can push. They got guys that can make life hard on SGA, especially those last 2 buckets. You get 2 stops like that. SGA had it, and then Jalen Williams had it on the other shot. And those were tough going to the basket where those were contested. They could have dropped, but they were highly contested. So,
I said the block was a key momentum. That block right there sent the real message.
Oh yeah. Did they block Holmgren on that layup? Because Holmgren smoked the layup. I thought he was going to dunk it. And it was like late, I think 2 minutes ago, he had a breakaway layup and broke it and smoked the layup. That was key as well. Like I said, you gotta put Indiana away. If you don't get a 20-point lead within even 20-point lead with 6 minutes to go, it's not safe against Indiana. I should know that we had 17 with 5 minutes. So again, I played this team twice in the playoffs the last 2 years. And they got waves and waves of scorers. So when they're on point, be careful. Keep the pace of that's where you need a point guard to keep the pace. Don't rush up because that's what they do. They'll press you up to rush up. This is all Carlisle, man. Carlisle, real talk. Carlisle is one of the top 5 coaches in the league right now, no doubt. And I think people forgot that a little bit.
For sure. Let me see if Lamont's back in the building or he's probably still in that phone call. Lamont, you good, bro? You all done? Probably not. He's still on that phone call. So So let's see what's up in the chat here real quick. Man, y'all be buzzing out in the chat for real. So
Bro, I wanted people to talk. I wanted people to talk about this finals. Though. Everybody was telling me they didn't watch. They didn't watch. My God, yes, I know. Now I know who to talk basketball with because some of y'all, like, if you don't like basketball, if you like basketball, you should love this series. You should love it.
But you know, the one thing about this series is that, and I actually, Legend of Winning brought this up. These are two teams that are basically have managed their rosters very effectively without overgoing the luxury tax. They're basically lower. They're lower. Their first class, first class apron type teams where they pretty much didn't have to spend that much at all. They just maneuver the rosters very effectively without having to spend that much money on them. And now look at them. And then the sickening part is it's all revolves around trading away Paul George.
Yeah, let me tell you how OKC for sure built this up because I remember them the Boston Celtics get rid of Kemba, right? So they traded him to get rid of a bad contract, and they got picks to that. That's another way of rebuilding. You're building through the draft, and you got everybody is young. That second best player, Jalen Williams, makes $4 million this year. They only got 3 contracts over $20 million, and that's SGA and Hartenstein. Everybody else makes. Lou Dort is the 3rd highest paid player. So they've been taking bad contracts with picks to go along with it, and then they've turned these picks into these players. Some of these players, right? Caruso is going to make $18 million next year. He only makes 10 this year. So that's a way of they've done it strictly through the draft, and then because they were at the salary floor, they had to they took bad contracts so they could get over the salary because in the collective bargaining agreement, you have to have at least a certain amount of payroll. You can't just keep that money and save it under the cap. You can't do like baseball and have a $30 million in the same division with the Yankees. You got to spend at least 130, 140 million, something like that, right? So they would take bad contracts, expiring contracts, just to get on that, and then they got more draft picks. That's a way of building your team. And now, again, they're the second youngest team to make the finals since 1955. That's crazy. They're young. Everybody's on good contracts. That's why they are where they are right now. And Indiana's a little bit different, but yeah, Indiana didn't go out and make no big splashes or get no giant superstar. They just kept finding pieces.
And the best part is, and I think I've also brought this up too. It was basically these rosters were built on the trades of Paul George, but more importantly too, when you look at this, when you look at the Clippers trade with Paul George and OKC, it's gonna go down as like a Herschel Walker type trade because that trade really set the precedent of what we're seeing now. Hey, Lamont, let me ask you this question. They'll send you back. Do you think that the Paul George maneuvering really set the table for this series, for the future of both of those franchises? Because both of them franchises have done a great job of going, basically not succeeding over the luxury tax and building their rosters effectively through the draft and smart free agency signings.
Yeah, no. You are right. Remember, I don't know if y'all remembered. I said it like 2 years ago. I said the big 3 era is dead.
Bro, I was about to point that out because I was going to point this out. Super teams are no longer existent anymore because you can't just put together 3 stars anymore and then a couple of role players. You have to construct your players to the talents of what you have. You can't just put 3 dominant stars anymore and then assume that they're just going to piece it together because this league is too dang talented now to play at the super team anymore. And anybody that sits here that says that the super team era is continuing, that shit's dead now. That's dead.
Why they flop so hard because the second apron now effectively is a hard cap. So once you hit the second apron, you got to make trades. It's dollar for dollar, no 15% difference no more. And then the only players you can add are veteran minimum rosters, and even that.
But it also can backfire. I think it can also not necessarily backfire, but it also puts you in a tough situation where I think we're going to. I don't think the NBA intended for it to have this impact, but I think it's going to, as far as rosters, in roster construction, it's going to start looking a lot more like the 90s because, for example, look at the Knicks. The Knicks have the second highest payroll in the league.
Right.
But the one thing that we know about the Knicks is they need more. Like they are one, like they're really good, but they don't, they're still one piece away from being a really good team. And so now for them to get better, they're going to have to shed a lot of what's made them great. Like if they want to pull off a KD trade or something like that, they're going to have to shed a lot of that. Like they're going to have to part with some really good pieces. So it's like two sides of the coin here. You can get really good. Like the Knicks are a really good team, but you can also get stuck. Like I think when you build your team this way, your team can hit a ceiling where you can't get no better than this ceiling. Like this ceiling is here. This is about the best you can get. Like, and I think with Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns, your two stars, I think there's a ceiling to how good they can even be. And I think they've hit that ceiling. And I don't think they like to look at that ceiling, which is one of the reasons why they fired Tom Thibodeau. And they're looking to go in another direction, which probably might mean parting with some of those pieces to bring in a star like Kevin Durant, which I don't know if that's true or not, but
I do know that Minnesota was pursuing Kevin Durant heavily. Even they were trying to get him during
and it's going to be hard for them too.
Train downline. But the problem is,
now to make those trades, you got to significantly.
I was about to say,
you're not going to get KD for cheap.
Nope.
But to get
you got to do a sign and trade for Randall. Randall's going to opt out. You got to do a sign and trade so the money matches up.
Well, the
only way.
Nobody's going to do a sign and trade.
I got you, but that doesn't work. I mean, it doesn't work.
Why you guys don't think KD should go to Houston and Houston give up Green? They're probably another player.
Yeah, but you got to. Okay, so why would Phoenix just take that? I think the biggest thing is going to be, what does Phoenix feel they need to get better? Are they going to look for picks? Are they going to prioritize a certain position or player? I think the biggest thing is the identifier is going to be, okay, what is this new coach in Phoenix and what is this new GM in Phoenix? What direction are they trying to go in? That's going to identify the teams in play. But just to throw names out there and think that Phoenix is just going to take a random mix of names is wild.
Right.
I think.
Can I add something real quick? Can I add something real quick? This is what you were saying about the Knicks, right? Okay, you got two heavy ticket guys at the top. Then you got OG who makes 40. The only way you can build with that, and this is another reason why Tibbs is gone, because you got to pair those late first round picks. Remember, the salary number for those late first round picks is $2 million, $1.5 million, so like in that range. So that you got to, for every guy that's high ticket, you got to pair him on the end of the roster. And see, Tibbs didn't play those guys. Like we drafted Picom Dadier. He didn't get any playing time. Tyler Kolek, second round pick. He didn't get any playing time. You got to at least give those guys a chance so that you can say, okay, I got these guys for 3 more years. So now I can keep a high ticket guy like Cat and a high ticket guy like Brunson with a backup or guy off the bench, or, those roles. You cannot have everybody being high ticket. That's the problem. Like Mitchell Robinson will make $13 million. Then he's going to have to be extended. So you're going to have to say goodbye or trade him. There's so many things you got to do. And that's why everybody has a cap. They employ a capologist. That's a legitimate job now. Capologist, somebody that actually understands the salary cap and the rules, does the math, and helps the basketball department make their decisions that way.
Yeah, but here's the problem with that. Like, as bad as you want to play, like, for example, when you look at the Knicks roster, I mean, if you're in the middle of the playoffs and you're trying to win a series that sends you to the NBA Finals, do you know how hard it is if you're a head coach to look down that bench? If you're looking for answers, and when you look down that bench, you see Tyler Kolek, and to really trust and believe in that, like it's one thing to say that these guys are viable options and play them, but when you're a coach in the moment, well, I'm probably gonna ride out with my top 6 guys too. If I look down on that bench and I'm looking at, if I'm looking at Tyler Kolek, PJ Tucker, and some of these other guys, these guys are really good regular season guys to give you depth. But if I'm trying to get over the hump and get to the NBA Finals, I'm not looking at old Tyler Kolek. There's only a handful of teams that have the confidence in their guys to pull off a move like that. Carlisle is one of them.
Ben Shepherd.
But that's the culture he's built. He's built a
That's
culture of
the
that.
point. That's my point. You gotta just roll the dice and say, you know what? Give me 10, 15 good minutes. Let me find because what if Ben Shepherd was bugging the hell out of Brunson? Even Nassar Thompson couldn't guard Brunson like Ben Shepherd was. And then Ben Shepherd was hitting shots. Same thing with Thomas Bryant. Again, another guy
They went to Shaman. They went to Campaign.
Yeah, he played good.
They
Campaign
went to DeLon Wright. I mean, how much deeper on the bench you want him to go?
All the way, because that's what Carlisle was doing. That's what OKC does, and that's why they're in the final.
That's the problem. See, that's the thing. In the league as it is today, you cannot copycat if your system and your style is not if it's not ingrained to the core where this is how you're gonna play to win. You can't go from playing 6 guys the majority of the game to when you get to the conference final. Well, shit, fuck it. We just gonna throw some guys in. Like, bro, man, I'm not trying to. Like, Tibbs has been like this his whole like Tibbs. I don't think it's Tibbs' fault. I think the Knicks lost because old girl was right.
Becky Hammond, but he's second for his thing. Did Becky Hammond?
No. Just come to the realization is this right here, my guy. What Jalen Brunson showed you why Becky Hammond was right. When you have a guard that small as your best player in these high leverage moments, when the going gets tough, that shit ain't gonna work.
140 points in the fourth quarter it still leads the NBA playoffs in fourth quarter points. I know. See, tough, it's like for every. I get it. Go ahead.
Hold on, y'all were playing the Indiana Pacers in the conference finals. This should have been a shoe-in for the Knicks to be in the NBA finals.
Right.
And we go back to Carlisle coaching them.
And y'all run into an Indiana Pacer team that's playing like a souped-up AAU team at a relentless pace. And y'all ran out the gym because y'all got a miniature best player. That's not
what happened, though, Lamar.
That is why y'all lost.
We blew. First of all, we blew a game. Okay, first of all, we blew a game that Brunson shouldn't even have been in because we got the 17-point lead without Brunson. He shouldn't even have been in. He became a defensive liability because of the 5 fouls he had. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get what you're saying, but that's too simplistic a narrative, especially when he's the leader in fourth quarter scoring.
You lost because your best player is miniature. When it mattered most.
And my second is 7 foot. So then guess what? Pivot. Get more, as I was saying, get more plays for Cat.
No, your point guard wasn't being a point guard.
That's another truth.
Number one. You know what? George just said it best.
I agree with George though.
One right now. Here's the number one thing. When your point guard is your leading scorer, it's already gonna be tough.
It's hard.
Because now you're stalling out, guys. I want y'all to think about, especially versus the Pacers, how the Knicks offense looked when Brunson was off the court, when the Knicks would make runs and the offense would be flowing and Bridges would get going and OG would get going. Brunson would be on the bench when that happened.
That mid-range was a killer.
Brunson would dribble 6-7 seconds off the shot clock, just
all the time.
Yeah, correct.
I've
said this all season. I've got videos saying the same thing. I said it coming into the playoffs.
That's because he's a miniature guard.
Yeah, but no. It's because he over dribbles and we play at a slower pace. Now, again, I want another coach who changes that.
He over dribbles because he's a small guard. Why does Tyrese Halliburton not have to dribble the ball out, dribble the ball for 10 seconds before his season opening? Because he's a big guard.
Hold on a minute.
Make a play.
Y'all weren't saying that when the Knicks beat what's the name?
I was saying it. And I said we beat them anyway.
Look,
like I told you, I got videos. You can subscribe to me. I know it's probably a long listen, but I got videos saying the same thing. We won in spite of it. We won because we battled out in the fourth quarter. That's why we won. We won because we rebounded a little bit better. There are reasons why we won, but then there's reasons why we are susceptible to getting beat by a team like Pacers. So that's what I'm saying. You got to have a coach. You got to have a coach that coaches all angles because Yeah, as much as this is a copycat league, there are slight differences where you got to make adjustments right here. Tibbs is not an in-game coach. He's a good preparer. The team is in great shape, and they
He's a
know their game
defensive
plan.
coach. He's a
Say again?
defensive coach.
King
Yeah,
wrong.
and guess what? We were mediocre defensively. And I know y'all gonna blame that on Cat and Brunson, but guess what? A good coach can hide bad defenders.
can't.
We know that.
No, he can't.
With Cat, when they got Mitchell Robinson, we actually played better.
King Rowe.
Go ahead.
The hardest thing on the basketball court to do is to hide people.
Very true.
It's hard, bro. It's hard, bro. You know how easy it is in the league today to get a matchup you want. I can get any matchup I want in 2.2 seconds.
With that
Go
pick
ahead
and
and try to
roll.
hide people all you want. There's only so much hiding before your defense completely falls into the garbage can.
You know what? You know what? They aren't the worst defenders in the world. They actually got like Cat can get a block. Problem is, again, you get them in too much space, and yeah, everybody will get by him. And it ain't that many centers that can expose Cat either.
First of all, Cat was getting burned when they were switching. Then they put Cat in the drop coverage. He was getting burned in drop coverage.
I get it.
Your two best players. I mean, at the end of the day, maybe Tibbs should have went a little bit of zone or did something different. I don't know. I don't care what the Knicks. I don't care how they lost. The Knicks should have won that series.
I agree. I agree, and I believe the coach got out coached.
No,
Period.
he did out coached, bro. One, I think I can take a little bit of the hit. One, I just think we didn't watch enough Pacers basketball. My
Got
buddy
it.
in
I did.
Indiana right now. He told me. I called him up. He says, "You ain't been watching Pacer basketball." He said, "We've been saying this all year in Indiana." He says, "We knew how good they were." He says, "Y'all didn't know. Y'all don't watch." And he's right. It took me having to watch. I watched them first. I watched them versus Cleveland. When I watched them versus Cleveland, I'm like, I don't know if this is. Well, I watched them versus Milwaukee, and I'm like, well, Milwaukee beat up and injured. When I watched them versus Cleveland, I'm like, well, man, they is beating the life out of Cleveland. What the hell is going on here?
No Garland.
Then I watched them versus the Knicks. These motherfuckers go up 2-0. I said, oh, shit.
See, they surprised you, not me. I saw them last year. I know what they do. Like, I've been watching them intensely.
Anybody that acts like they were not surprised by the Pacers this year, you're lying, man.
Yeah, because at the beginning of the year, nobody saw that coming.
Bro, nobody
The
saw
way they
this
were
shit
playing?
coming.
Nobody
These
saw it
motherfuckers-
coming because
That's
people were
the problem.
calling Tyrese Halliburton overrated, but the fact is he was still battling those hamstring injuries from last season.
Bro, nobody saw this shit coming. Not
Nobody saw
See,
it.
again, you saying nobody. When I lost to them last year, and again, I know that they score a lot. That's one thing. They're an elite offensive team. Now, what I didn't know they had in them is that pressure defense, and that pressure defense actually puts them on a championship level.
Bro, it's not even real pressure defense, bro. They're throwing fake defense out, tricking y'all.
Okay, I get it, but it works. It worked last night. It worked against a 68-14 team.
No,
So it works
against the
against-
team. It worked against the youngest team in NBA, an inexperienced
Okay,
team.
they still went 80-18 coming into the like. Are we going to give OKC again? So are we at the? Do you agree with there's no great teams then?
No, what I'm saying is this. No, OKC is a great team, but they're
Okay.
inexperienced. They lost that game. They got outscored in the last 9 minutes, 33-16.
Yep.
And all you have remember at the end of the game when you're up 14 points, you only thing you got to do is slow the game down.
Completely agree.
They were getting rattled, and I think SGA fell into it because he started attacking way too soon. And I think SGA was attacking so much because his running mate, the number 2 option, was missing shots, and he felt like he had to do too much. Chet Holmgren pulls disappearing acts all the time. He
Of
can't
course.
get a rebound to save his life, and he the tallest motherfucker on the court. I mean, really, the 2 best players on the court yesterday was SGA and Caruso. Really,
Mm-hmm.
and if it wasn't for some rainbow threes from Lou Dort, I mean, this score might look kind of nasty because Lou Dort, him and his 5 threes is what really was giving a little bit of saving grace to OKC. But like what I saw from the Pacers yesterday, I had seen it enough all throughout this playoffs. If you've been watching the Pacers all throughout this playoffs, what you saw yesterday did not surprise you.
You know who made a big 3 last night? who made the one before Halliburton shot. Nembhard.
The nastiest shot this year that I've ever seen. One of the most gutsiest, ballsy shots that I've seen. I'm talking about in his eye. That's like a in the park. We've been talking trash all game dagger, man. That motherfucker hit him with a 1-2 step back, and that motherfucker was all net. I said, God.
You talking about Nembhard, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
bro.
Okay, now guess what Nembhard did last year to my Knicks in game 3 where we could have went up 3-0. He hit the same shot, only it wasn't a step back. He hit it from 30 feet. So again, like I'm telling you, I've seen this already. I'm talking Nembhard. We were up 2-0, sir, in game 3.
But I don't look. I know you want to make a passion plea for the Knicks, but them motherfuckers is gone, man.
Okay, again, I'm telling you is I saw it. I knew that Indiana had this in them. Bro. That's all I'm saying. Because again, y'all are learning who Nembhard is.
Look, I'll give it to you. Maybe you definitely saw it. I'm sure. Maybe you pay attention a little bit. I'll give it to you. I'll give you credit for that. But I'm saying right now, like for example, like when I saw Neesmith in the mentality that he had at the end of the game. Just basically taking the ball in the ISO, going right at SGA, and then hitting a dagger 3.
He's done that before.
Into that lead.
When
I saw him make that shot, I said, Carlisle is probably the best coach in the NBA because he don't take that shot unless he's had a green light that's been instilled in him all year long. Like you shoot that shot with confidence when your coach is behind you and is willing to live or die with any shot you take. And when I see him take that shot, I said that's all Carlisle. Like Carlisle might be the best coach in the league.
Guess what? Nembhard, Neesmith is a 50-40-90 player. That's why I had to slip that in. He's 50. Anybody that's 50-40-90, you give him a green light because that is the epitome of efficiency.
Okay, brother. Since you said you watched them all year long or you knew about them, what's gonna happen when that Mathurin start doing what he normally does?
Mathurin's another one. It's pure buckets. The only reason why he's coming off the bench is because he's not the greatest defender. Mathurin's another one. It's pure buckets. Y'all, again, like I said, a lot of casuals don't know who these guys are.
Okay, so King Rowe.
Yeah, go ahead.
Big Pacer talk. Who won? You got the Pacers winning this series?
No, I don't. Because guess what? OKC got some guys scored. Matter of fact, outside of SGA, nobody have a good game for OKC. So except for Lou Dort too. My bad. Lou Dort had a good game, but everybody else struggled. Chet definitely struggled. Boy, 6-6.
Yeah. But you know what's scary for OKC?
Yeah.
Halliburton didn't even have a good game. Like Halliburton is due every series for like 1 or 2 duds.
I told him that him or Siakam didn't have a good game.
But he's also due every series for 1 or 2 monster games.
I know.
Now that the Pacers are up 1-0, they can't afford for Tyrese Halliburton to have a monster game right now. Like, don't let Tyrese Halliburton decide to have his monster game in game 2.
They better put a big mission of Caruso, because Caruso gets under everybody's skin. Caruso and Dort better be on them like white on right.
Right now, if they try to defend Halliburton if they try to put Caruso on Halliburton man to man, they're going to lose game 2. I promise y'all. I promise you. Ja Morant already exposed his weakness in OKC because Ja Morant, when they went up 30 in that one game, if y'all watch that run when they went up 30, Ja Morant was just screening until he got Caruso matched up on him, and he's just attacking Caruso head on because Caruso's greatest strength is help defense. When you force him to play one-on-one, the other guys aren't really elite in help defense other than Chet. And so he was just going one-on-one with Caruso and barbecuing because Caruso is good, but you're not stopping good ISO players in this league. I don't care how good of a defender you are. You're not stopping good ISO defenders. If you try to put Caruso on Halliburton, they're going to lose game 2. They're going to lose. And it might be a blowout. I promise you, if we see that early in the game, I'm betting it's a blowout for the Pacers.
We'll see. We'll see about
As
that.
as you know, you can't. OKC is hard to put away too, because again, they come at you with waves of scorers. So
They do.
you know,
They do. And them motherfuckers. But I'm telling you, the equalizer has been already shown. The NBA has already shown we're gonna allow both teams to play physical, and the equalizer is out there. And I said before the series, if the NBA makes a concerted effort to make sure that if you're gonna allow OKC to be physical on defense, then the Pacers can be physical. And they've already shown that we're gonna let things go. We're gonna allow it to be physical to a certain degree. Once the equalizer is in, and if SGA can't get to the free throw line over 10 plus times, it's gonna be. They're not a very. If you think about every series that OKC has played, other than the Minnesota series, OKC has not played good basketball. They did not play good basketball versus Memphis. Memphis was just atrocious. They did not play good basketball against Denver. Denver was just hurt and didn't have the bodies. They only played basketball in a few games against Minnesota, but for the most part, Minnesota was just shooting themselves in the foot. No team has forced them to play any real style like where they have to think. And every time they get into a situation where they have to think, like the game one versus Denver or this game one versus Indiana, they folded. Any game where they have to start thinking and slowing down, they fold. We got the SGA fraudulent MVPs, man. They got the SGA fraud now, man. Come on, man.
you had 38 last night. Come on now. See what I'm saying?
Oh, hold on. I mean, y'all called Brown a choke, man. He led both teams in every statistical category. He lost.
Oh, what was that 15?
Yeah, you got it. Look, once you start the choke narrative on players like LeBron, you got to now call everybody a choke. So, I mean, at the end of the day,
MVP is a regular season award. So, again, y'all can see. Look, here's the foul merchant. I know that would frustrate the hell out of me watching him flail. I touch his arm back at the 3-point line. He goes up for a layup and flails, and they call that when I touch him at the 3-point line. That would frustrate the hell out of me, but whatever.
I just think that. Well, you also got to give credit to not just the refs, but give credit to the Pacers. They was staying down, and they was defending without fouling.
And they do that well.
Other than the one time where Obi Toppin threw Caruso to the ground or knocked him to the ground, and he got the end one. Other than that, man, I didn't really see too many kind of like frustration kind of fouls. And even that foul wasn't too much frustration. I did think they cheated for OKC though. When Siakam was falling out of bounds and he got pushed by Wallace, I thought they cheated a little bit there because I thought it was clear that he pushed his ass out of bounds.
Hold on. The other foul, when Halliburton just swiped at SJG, they showed it. The commentators didn't say nothing about it. He didn't even touch
him on the arm though, but he hit him on the arm.
Hit him on the arm on that one. Yeah,
he hit him on. I saw that one, George, because
that was clear.
He reached the first time, but then he reached from behind him and hit his
the
arm.
backside wasn't a foul, but before he hit him on the arm.
Yeah, he hit him on the arm on that one. But that second foul was Siakam, because that would have sent Siakam to the free throw line for 2 free throws.
That would have definitely. I didn't think it was a foul though. It was kind of both going through for the ball. I didn't think it was like a clear push. It definitely was contact though, but I thought it was more like a kind of play on moment in my opinion.
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it because you let the players dictate. Like it'd have been a shitty way to decide the game by sending them to the free throw line.
Right. And that's what Brett did. That's what you got to realize. That last minute, don't count on the refs. Make sure you got your best shot, your best play, because the refs ain't going to. No ref wants to say I made the call that gave game-winning free throws. Unless it's something really egregious.
Can I ask you a question, Tyson?
What's up, bro?
How would you have defended that last play?
That's a tough one because like King Rose spoke to. There's such a balanced offense. If you double off, a certain player, and Holly makes the right play, you know what I'm saying? Then Neesmith hits a big shot. Then Pascal hits a big shot, and those guys are more than capable. So I don't know, man. That's a tough. It's always hindsight, but with Holly's track record, of course, you kind of want to get the ball out of his hands. I do agree with that. You want to get the ball out with his track record and what he's done over these playoffs. You see he's more than, willing and capable of making that shot. So maybe you get it out of his hands and get it to somebody else and see what they do with it. But at the end of the day, you don't want to give nobody a wide open shot, period. So it's just a tough spot to be in.
No, I think if they would have called the timeout.
Caruso had an opportunity.
Yeah, Caruso on that right there, you 100% correct. When Caruso peeled off that double, he could have. Exactly. I agree.
If Caruso just collapses on the ball,
it makes him pass it. Time is out.
Yeah, time runs out. But when Caruso saw his man cutting, and that was probably the best thing his man could have ever did by just cutting.
Yeah,
Caruso fucked up.
Caruso fucked up. He should have stayed engaged with that double team, and we likely have a different outcome. But they didn't lose the game on that play, man. They lost the game. To me, they lost the game in the first half, bro. They should have been up way more than they were in that situation. J-Dub was a terrorist. I thought Isaiah Joe was horrible in his minutes. He was out there getting hunted by TJ McConnell, which is ridiculous.
Hey, he had his price pick spread for me, so I'm cool with Isaiah.
He was out there getting hunted by TJ McConnell, bro.
3.5 points. He got 5 points, man. So I'm rocking with him, man.
And what did TJ have in the first half?
TJ's prop was free throws over.
No, I mean just the first half. Not speaking on your prop.
Oh, he had 9 points in. He had like 9 and something.
He was like the leading scorer, though. They did a great job that first half, and the game should have been. They should have been up 20, bro. They should have been up 20 something. Got to give Indiana credit. They did a good job of not letting OKC capitalize on the turnovers. Obviously, they already spoke to that. But 19 turnovers, and I don't know what they had off of those turnovers in the first half. I know it was only like 11 total for the game off of turnovers, 9 fast break points with all those turnovers, and a lot of them, some of them were dead ball. I understand that, but at the same time, OKC's offense with J-Dub was a terrorist out there, bro. That mid-range jumper was nowhere to be found. I saw in the first half he was settling for middies, and they was just clanking all over the place.
Big guards, though, man. Big guards contesting. They got some big ass guards.
Even off a non-contest, he just wasn't knocking them down. He just had an off day. I thought, but they do defend pretty well. I don't get that twisted. But I'm just saying he had some wide open looks that he just smoked, which I don't think he'll continue to do. They had a long layoff. I'm not making excuses, but that's a fact. They had a long layoff. I expect them to be better in game 2, and I still think they're gonna win the series, obviously. But Indiana did their thing that first game, man. But I liken it to a Philly Lakers matchup.
I can't commit to OKC gonna win the series, man.
You can't?
I can't either.
I'm telling you, I don't know what it is, man. I keep watching this Pacer team play, and it's not built like your normal great team.
No.
But these motherfuckers are better than we've been giving them credit. Like a lot of people gonna feel like this game
are they?
But I'm telling you right now, every time the Pacers, when they get ahead in a series, these motherfuckers are crazy, man. They are like, I don't know who they've been talking to. I don't think they got Larry Bird and all the legends in the locker room or something. But these motherfuckers really feel like they better than OKC.
I don't disagree with that. One of the reasons
why they never backed down in game 1. Like, you know how many other teams we saw this year? Denver, Minnesota.
Pack it up.
Just fold in the fourth, just completely just say fuck it. When they was getting beat down, this motherfucking team is crazy. They really think they better. And when a team really feel that way and they win the game 1, it's hard. Like, I'm telling you right now, this game 2,
Philly felt that way versus the Lakers, Lamont.
Be surprised.
Chill out.
No, this is not even the same.
Philly felt that way versus the Lakers. Chill out.
No, that's not the same.
You could put 130, 140 on the board easily. That's the Pacers. You should feel confident. If you could put, your best offensive game and you hitting on all cylinders, you could put 120, 130 on the board. You play at your pace. They feel, like I said, you got to knock them boys out. They're not going to go away.
I agree with that. I agree with that. But I just think, OKC, that first half was, the defense was excellent. The offense was horrible, bro. So and we giving credit to Indiana for their defense. Are we giving OKC credit for their defense and what they did the first? Did they take their foot off the gas? Did they get complacent?
I don't credit OKC defense though. That's the crazy thing about the first half.
Okay. I'm just saying.
Well,
Was
no,
that
I'm saying, think about the first half.
was
Think
that
about
the
the
real
first
game, or was that fourth quarter the real game? You feel me?
Yeah, but think about OKC's defense this game, especially in the first half. What I saw in the first half, it looked more so nervous than good defense. Like with them throwing the ball in the backcourt multiple possessions. Obi Toppin looked nervous. When they calmed down, when they finally calmed down, Indiana looked like the better team for the rest of the game.
When the lights got dim, the light was bright from the beginning.
Anybody that watched that game, once they stopped playing like they was nervous, who looked like the better team?
Well, what was OKC playing like? You feel me? Like in that fourth quarter, was they playing their best ball?
Well, OKC's
too
been
relaxed.
They've been playing this entire playoff. They've been playing basketball that's heavily reliant on them getting to the free throw line. And when they're not getting to the free throw line, that score never really, even all the turnovers, 6 points, 8 points, 9 points, right? They never, the free throws is what usually helped them get that lead from 9 points to 15 to 20. They wasn't getting to the free throw line. So them leads stayed around 9 to 12, right? Then the Pacers would hit a 3. Damn, back to 9. Pacers hit another 3, back to 6. And it's just like that pressure. Equalizer. It's equalized now. Like if they win game 2, it's because SGA gets to the free throw line like 15, 20 times.
Again, if somebody been watching them since last year, I'm sorry. If somebody been watching them since last year, Boston had that same issue putting them away. That's what I'm saying. They cleaned up a lot of their issues from last year. And yeah, I think the highest spread was 16. And I said this. OKC, if y'all don't get it up to 20, they are going to be dangerous at the end of the game. I said it live.
Bro, we all literally who was not watching that game thinking like, damn, the Pacers can really come back. I'm looking at it like 3 minutes to go, and I'm saying to myself, I think the Pacers can win this game.
I agree with that. I agree with that 100%.
It was too close.
They never,
they didn't hit the dagger.
They never put the dagger in them. They never, pushed that lead.
The Lou Dort block and layup by SGA, that typically is the dagger for most teams. That's what
Here's the problem. The Pacers going to give you about another 6-7 possessions.
It's not a normal team.
Because the Pacers can get 7 possessions in a couple of minutes, like easily, and hit 3 like every time.
I watched a lot of I watched a fair amount of OKC. Is J-Dub that bad of a finisher, bro?
No, he's a good finisher. I don't know.
That's a good question. No, that's a good question because he sells some layups.
He be smoking them.
he will smoke, especially if they contest it.
Yes, that's what I mean. Of course, he making uncontested layups, but if they contest the layup, this dude don't look comfortable. This dude be throwing up crazy shots at the rim. I'm like, what are you doing, my guy?
With layups contested, shit.
Why?
I think smoke a layup at the end of that game, wide open with a little bit of contest.
Yeah.
Smoke.
Yeah. Yeah. Remember, he's 6'5". He looks like he would be taller, but he's only 6'5", and he plays a little bigger than his height.
When he got that double block, I bet he thought he was a little taller there. That motherfucker got rejected.
But he's still a nice player, man. He's only 23 himself.
That layup he did when he got blocked by Turner, I was like, what the fuck was that?
Well, look, Turner is one of the league shot blockers in the game.
No. I agree 100%. But he didn't even try to adjust. He just gave the ball to him. Like, what do you know who Turner is? Like, I'm just gonna run right to him and just get a ball. I was like, bro, come on, man, give him a little euro, give him something. Where's your layup package at, bro?
I saw Giannonobi do the same thing. Yeah, Turner's the guy that will change a shot.
One of them people that went to bed.
Fact.
That was probably the craziest thing you could do, man. He went to bed, missed the end of the game. I bet bro. Well, imagine if you had a bet on the game and you go to bed when they up 15 and you wake up. Oh shit.
Have y'all not learned? And see, that's one thing I say about today's game, Lamont. 15-point, 20-point leads are not safe because of the 3-point shot and because of the way they run. You can get up the floor in 3-4 seconds.
No. King Rowe.
Okay.
20-point lead is safe than a motherfucker, man. If you jacking off 20-point leads, y'all stupid as hell, man. Most teams that be jacking off these leads is because you done fell into some dumb shit. Like you don't
Okay.
just lose 20-point leads because other teams are making threes. You lose
Okay,
20
so
point leads
why is
because you
everybody
can't shoot.
surprised that Boston did it twice, the defending champions?
What you mean?
Boston did it twice in game 1 and game 2. Everybody's
Bro,
surprised.
we've been saying this whole year that Boston has one of the weirdest, sorriest offenses in the NBA. All
Okay,
they
I'm
do is
glad
go
you agree.
ISO and chuck threes.
I'm glad you agree because I've been saying it.
But everybody's
I've
been
been
saying
saying
that. You act like the whole world been talking about that. The biggest indictment on the Boston coach is been his offense. They struggle with
and it's all about analytics for him.
whenever think about it like this: whenever your team is too heavily reliant on something. So, for example, Boston, what are they heavily relying on? The 3-ball. OKC, what do they heavily rely on? The free throws. What does the Pacers rely on to win games? Them motherfuckers don't rely on shit.
Nah.
Them motherfuckers set the record for turnovers and still won the game. What do they rely? They ain't relying on shit.
They rely on pace, you know what I'm saying? Pace of play, you know, those type of things. But, you know, they do a lot of a lot of driving kick on offense. If you shut down those penetration lanes, I think they struggle in the half court. But yeah, every team relies on something. I agree, but yeah, they're balanced offense. I do give you that.
I don't know, man. The scary part about this is we know who's going to give you 30 for OKC. We don't have any clue who on the Pacers might give OKC 30 next.
It might not be nobody.
That's the thing. Like, we don't know. Like, they don't know if Neesmith going to have the big game, Halliburton, Siakam, Nimberhard. Hold. Shepard might come in. I mean, we watched goddamn Thomas Bryant come in and have a big game at one time. Man, I'm like, bro, with the Pacers team,
Obi going 5 for 6. That was humongous. You don't expect that from Obi.
That's what I'm saying. You know, Obi topping all them three, especially the way he played the first couple of minutes. I'm thinking like,
oh man, he was a walking turnover. He is, and that's great trust by Rick Carlisle, man. Shit, bro. If that was me on biting my fingernails, I would have set that nigga
down. Obi got a short memory. Remember, he was my rookie. He was my rookie once upon a time.
Come have a seat by me, bro. Come on over here and talk to Coach for a second.
He put that motherfucker back in the game faithfully.
He did. No, he did. No questions. And he rewarded them, knocking down them big shots. So kept him in the game. So yeah, man. Yeah, it was a great game, very entertaining. I did want to point out what you talked about earlier. It was the lowest viewed game since the pandemic, according to the Google facts.
Yeah,
that's horrible. That's horrible. America's missing out on good basketball.
I bet you game 2 won't be.
I hope not, man, because it is a great matchup, and you got some great young players out there doing their stuff, man. I really wish that, you know, the casuals would engage with these young players, man.
And sell these guys, man. Sell these guys. Yeah, Halliburton is taking that overrated stuff personally. You understand what I'm saying? There's other guys on the pick.
Bro, he's not.
Is he not?
This is the problem. See, we think that he's playing this good because of the overrated stuff. That's just media talk. The funny thing about it, this motherfucker been doing this all year. They've been calling this man overrated since last year. He don't give a damn. The best thing about Halliburton is he don't care. He been a nerd all his whole life. He been a nerd, weirdo type of dude his whole life. You don't think he was underrated coming out of Iowa State when he got when he got drafted, way lower than he should have.
13th, I know.
So I don't know, Lamar, man. A lot of people use that for motive. I'm not saying he does or don't. I don't know him personally, obviously, but a lot of people use that kind of slide as motivation. We seen football players. What's my boy from my Lions? St. Brown writes the names of every dude that got picked before him and puts it in his helmet before every game. You know, stuff like that is motivation for players. So to say he not using that, we don't really know that, bro.
I just don't look. When I see his MO and his player build, I don't think he give a damn. I think he just that motherfucker after the post game just said, man, I'm just happy to be playing basketball, man. He don't give a damn.
What do you let me ask you this, Lamar? Do you think he wants the MVP?
Glad to be
He
hooping.
lying, Lamont. He lying,
I
bro.
swear to God,
Lamar, do
that's
you
what
think
gave me
Nah,
Lamar?
you
Do you
don't
think
get
he
that
wants the
good just to be
MVP?
happy to be playing, my guy.
Hold on,
Ain't nobody
Lamar.
that good just to be happy to motherfucker happy to be playing. Just touch the court and go sit his ass down. And he ain't just be happy to be playing, bro. Nah, he ain't selling me on that bullshit.
he played too carefree, man. They
He
play
does. He
like
could, but he love the game. That's no
they
question.
are playing this game. They are treating the NBA Finals like it's the regular season. They don't give a damn. Like
Yeah, they
they're not
doing what
playing
got
like
them there.
there's anything at stake.
No,
They
they
doing what
are
got
playing.
them there.
I agree with that. They play free. You don't see. Well, I think the nerves in the first half got to them a little bit. To your point. So I do think the nerves got to them a little bit. But then once they settle in, yes, they play free. I don't think it's any agendas on the team. I think they just share the ball and they play as a team. Play good defense. And I think OKC is on that type of time too, though. So I don't think nobody's mad that SJ is the star of the team or whatever, and he gets most of the claim. I don't think it's that type of vibe over there. So I think both teams had that element. I just think they're just a more free flowing style of offense. You know what I mean? To Holly's credit, as the floor general.
Remember, SCA been there since the pandemic, and most of the rest of the players were in college when he got there. So,
Right,
you
right,
know what I mean? He the
right.
longest tenured guy, 5 years in.
He
And
ain't longer than Dort, is he?
maybe
Nah,
Dort was there a year
nah.
earlier.
Dort. I think Dort was there a year earlier, or it might have been on the same
Okay.
time. Might have been the same time.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that.
Yeah. Either way, ain't got no 30-year-olds, no, I mean, yeah.
So and I agree with y'all 100% on it. This is the new wave. It's almost that salary cap, like you said, is comparable to football, man. You just can't pay these guys and not put a team
Mhm.
around them. You
That's
know what
why
I'm saying?
you can't blow your draft picks. You gotta use your draft
Yeah.
picks to develop them.
And the best teams in football hit on those draft picks, man. And it's going to be the same way in the NBA. So you got to hit your draft picks. You got to let these dudes play. You got to get them out there. You got to get them experience. So like Lamont said earlier, he look at the end of the bench and see these names, but you would have knew what they were if they got more playing time in the regular season. You feel me? So to King Rose's point, Tibbs got to take a little blame for that. He got to take. I don't think he should have been fired necessarily. But that's the way the NBA. Somebody got to take the blame. My boy, I'm a Suns fan. My boy, Monty Williams took the blame, even though we went to the finals. You know what I'm saying? So but be careful what you ask for, because you might get a terrorist as a coach, and the whole thing go the other way, Kings, bro.
Came
You know
down
what I'm
to the
saying?
two best players. I think when you get down to this level, if you talk about regular season game, I get it. But when we talk about winning in the conference finals, I think that comes down to your best players, and your best players got to go be the best players. And when you look at the Pacers, their top 5-6 guys came out and were the top 5-6 guys. And when you were the Knicks, I mean,
no, I don't disagree with that, Lamar. It's on the players. I agree.
He's a
but
small guard. They just made life hell for a small guard. And
he's a horrible defender too.
Boy, they made hell for him. Like when you're small, like when you're like in basketball, the unfortunate reality is that when you're taller, a lot of shit just becomes much easier.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
And when you're smaller, you get targeted on offense, you're going to get targeted on defense, and like it just makes life hell for you. And I think it just comes down to what Becky Hammond said. When your best player is 5'11", 6-foot guard, I mean, good luck. Just good luck. I mean,
they got to be exceptional. They got to be exceptional, and you got to put the right team around them. Like if you're not going to put defensive pieces around those guys and you know what I'm saying, allow them to get exploited without being able to help and rotate properly, then of course it's going to cause issues on your team. So as great as he is as a player offensively, you gotta put the defense around him to make that work. You gotta supplement your best players' weaknesses. At the end of the day, that's the name of the game to me. You know what I mean?
Think that the Knicks got enough money to throw at Mark Jackson?
Hold on, say that again.
Do they want Mark Jackson?
Mark Jackson.
I said, did you think the Knicks got enough money to throw at Mark Jackson?
Who said his name?
Bro, they're going to go get Jay Wright.
That's what New York fans want.
They're going to go get Jay
okay.
Wright.
Okay.
No, New York fans want Jay Wright. They're going to get Jay Wright.
That's the boy out of where's he at?
Yeah, he was at Villanova. He retired.
Villanova coach. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Okay.
He stepped down. He got tired of the bullshit with the NIL.
How you feel about that? I don't know. Putting your trust in a legendary college coach. I don't know. The NBA is a different beast, but it might work. I don't know. I don't know. We've seen that fail. We've seen that, we've seen that be successful, but I think we've seen it fail more times than not. Am I right?
Yeah, but it's a different league now. I mean, the styles become more college oriented. If you're talking about going deeper on the bench, using more rotational level guys, playing with depth, that's college style. The NBA style has always been built on your top 6 guys. So if this new college style is more conducive to winning, go get a college guy. You already got 3 college teammates. Shit, you might as well go ahead and just cap it off. Get the coach. We got Sean Holman. Sean Holman says New York want a more lenient coach from what I read. Tibbs was too hard-nosed, according to some folks. I don't know, man. When you fire a coach that just got you to the Eastern Conference Finals, I don't know what the hell you want. I mean, you would think in most years, if you get to the Eastern Conference Finals, it will buy you at least another year on the job. But the fact that Tibbs couldn't even get another year is crazy. So, yeah, but the problem warranty department is that they got the second highest salary in the NBA. I mean, the only way they can bring in another player is they got to get rid of Cat. They got to trade Cat. They're going to have to lose something. OG, some of them, they're going to have to give up something. And they're close to that second apron, man. So, I mean, they're going to have to be going dollar for dollar in these trades. Hey, but look, y'all, man, we chopped it up on everything we wanted to talk about. Salute to George for pulling up, man. George is on mute right now. I'm going to go ahead and drop him down. Appreciate y'all pulling up the FYF Sports, man. We got the Friday night exposure coming up here in about 45 minutes here on FYF Sports, man. Go James Kingdom. He's going to be going live. Make sure y'all tune in, man. Check him out, man. He's going to be cooking, man. Should be another good one tonight, man. He has a good topic for y'all. He says Tibbs deserved another year with the squad for sure. I believe so too. I don't know what's going on with the NBA this year, man, but all of these firings are weird. Memphis fired a coach, didn't understand it. Denver fired their coach, I didn't understand it. And now the Knicks fired their coach, I don't understand it. But then you got some teams, you got some coaches with their jobs. Still, if anybody had a reason to fire their coach, it would have been Boston. So, it is what it is. But look, y'all, we're going to go ahead and get this one shut down. I appreciate everybody pulling up the FYF Sports today, man. It was a good show. We got, LA 824 Kobe. He says, Kobe, 81 believed, the second greatest scoring. What? 81 unbelievable, the second greatest scoring ever in NBA history. Yeah, it is. That was a great game. Yeah, he beat up on the Toronto Raptors, Jalen Rose and them. Did what he was supposed to do. He says, knee pad Kingdom going off the rail and talk about Jordan and LeBron. They're not talking about Jordan and LeBron. Y'all the ones that make it about Jordan and LeBron. Y'all always get mad at him for talking about Jordan and LeBron. When y'all the ones come in the comments, talk about Jordan and LeBron. Why y'all get mad at him? Because he answered y'all questions about Jordan and LeBron. I mean, you look all throughout this chat. There's people talking about Jordan and LeBron the whole time. So it is what it is, y'all. Hey, y'all, we're going to go and get this shut down. Appreciate everybody pulling up the FYF Sports today, man. It was a hell of a show. Tomorrow, I'm going to be doing that show, man. We're going to pick up on these prize picks. I'm going to show you guys how we do it from start to finish, get them lineups created. And we just gonna kind of go from there, man. We got Pacers, OKC game 2 going. Should be a hell of a game. He said, whoever said Kneepack Kingdom, you fruity, yeah. Hey, we already discussed it, Zero. You know how they are, man. They like to use terms, man. I told you about how they use these terms, man. To use the terms, you got to think of the terms. To think of the terms, you got to visualize the terms. And you know, what does y'all got going on in y'all minds, man? Where these are the things that y'all are visualizing, man. We've already talked about that, Zero. FYF Sports, y'all. Another great podcast episode, y'all. We're gonna be back with more sports news. Until then, man, it's FYF Sports. Here we are.